Sue, one more time, please.
Carrie Germain,
Present.
Jenny Wolgast,
Here.
Autumn Henry,
Here.
Chuck Melkey.
Here.
Andrea Fick,
Here.
Kim Winter,
Here.
Ken Engel,
Present.
all here.
Okay, thank you. We'll have a pledge to the flag, please, if everybody would stand for a moment. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, this is our part of public comment. You're limited to 3 minutes. It should be agenda specific. I hope you respect that and give everybody their 3 minutes if they so choose. If anybody would like to come up and address the board, I ask you to do so now. Yes, ma'am.
See that Moorish Elementary School is listed, possible sale. Again, I'm Leah Davis from Mundy Township. Let's see, that's 9, Moorish Elementary discussion. First of all, I want to say I live right across the street from Moorish Elementary School. I watch and hear the demolitions all the time. And I'm very pleased, and I want to thank the school board for making it possible for the school to have the air, what do you call it, purifier. It's to find out the integrity of the air. It's, what is it, purple air, something like that. You can go on the website and find out if it's good for the kids to go out and play. But thank goodness FDA agreed to wait for the demolitions until school is out, so now they're busy at it again. I would like to suggest that they test or provide funding for testing to be done around the school grounds, the playground, for any toxins that could have been left over from any of these demolitions. That would be super nice if they would stand up to that. So if there are any traces, that it would be their responsibility to clean it up too. So the question of moving the school because of the demolitions of the toxicity around the school, there really is, in my knowledge, no better place for this school. And talking about moving it over to closer to where Berlin and Farrell is that's just out of the question, in my opinion. So the school is our public asset. We already have poured billions into renovations. Stop abusing our tax dollars trying to buy our school with our very own money. That's what I'd like to say to the FGEA and the non-government organizations. It doesn't make sense at all. This school is a public asset to the community that surrounds it. Stop destroying our neighborhoods with our taxes for private interest. If the board stands its ground, it can help to stop the ambush of oncoming heavy industry the community does not want. Please hold the fort for your neighbors, friends, family, and the kids that live around the area. This is a good place for the kids to be. It's a beautiful area if they don't come in and poison it. If a company is coming in, let the company buy you out. Don't waste our tax dollars, especially when there is no guarantee there will be anyone coming in at all into the mega site overlay. Anyways, the cart before the horse is unethical, and people should be going to jail for stealing our public wealth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Should I talk now, Chuck, or on the agenda?
Do we have him on the agenda? Yeah, you'll be on the agenda, unfortunately, sir. F, Al. Yeah, so you got a ways to go.
Okay.
You want to go grab a cup of coffee and come back, you're more than welcome to. Anybody else? I mean, you can always talk because it's public comment, but it has to be agenda specific. And you are on the agenda, so you can take 3 minutes if you so choose. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I'm Michelle Grozier, a resident, lifelong resident. regarding the potential purchase of Marsh Elementary School by the Flint and Genesee Economic Alliance, or Maple Hill LLC. I want to, again, remind everyone that this project began in secrecy. I'm not sure why we would cooperate with people who function in that way. The Mundy Township Board at that time kept this taxpayer-funded project on the low until a group in the Mundy community worked exhaustively to dig up details after noticing surveying and other related activity in the area. The residents showed up in large numbers to push back. We pretty much went unheard. We got new members in to hopefully change the course, but it's still been an ordeal. So board members, Morris School is clearly an obstacle for our state. The Flint and Genesee Economic Alliance and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. I ask the board to please remember that a quality education does not depend on a new building. Accepting an offer would bring long-term costs to our community, which is one concern, but more importantly, Flint and Genesee Economic Alliance wants to appeal first and foremost to a semiconductor company. Make no mistake about it. This industry presents extremely concerning environmental hazards. If you haven't yet researched it, please do. If this board agrees to sell Marsh Elementary, it will remove a major and important obstacle to allow the placement of a large environmentally hazardous industry in the middle of multiple neighborhoods. Surrounding the mega site are numerous young families, and most of these residents rely on well water. We have gardens and breathe the air. Think about this. The preservation of Morris School is a deterrent for any environmentally hazardous company, and therefore a protection of all students and their families in the area. We need to preserve the school. You think by moving the school you're protecting the students, but you're really protecting all of your students that live in the area and surround it. Please don't cave, please.
Thank you.
Good evening. Brian Jones, local resident. I'd like to start, since we're talking about spending money tonight, I'd like to talk about a couple of things spending money. I just want to remind the people watching that Chuck is suing the board and the school, people on the board and the school. That will cost this district money. I also want to remind people that the board funded an investigation to the tune of $25,000. And I believe, if I haven't missed anything, the investigation yielded absolutely nothing, not even a scrap of paper, for our $25,000. But yet, somehow, it was just needed. So here we are. Clock's not counting down.
Remember, please, to stay on agenda items.
Okay, spending money is an agenda item. You've established that already. So, I mean, I guess I could go on like your friend and talk about how somebody should be brutalized by the police, but we'll skip over that. So we will go to an agenda item. This mega site nonsense, the board's involvement in that is, do you sell the school or do you not? I realize that these people don't want it here. I don't particularly want it here. But the fact is, leaving a school in the middle of this, what was, I think, just described as an industrial hazardous waste site, that's not protecting anyone. They will build around. They don't care. They have the rest of the land. If you think somehow that this is a big deal and people will be like, oh, people are already like, oh, and nothing. So anyway, that's a thing there. I think that also gets us into the territory of the board really needs to realize what the board's mission is. The board's mission is not to affect public policy other than it pertains to the board itself or the school. It's not to worry about what Mundy Township likes or doesn't like. It's not to worry about what Swartz Creek does or doesn't do. It's about what this school does. And that's it. It's not whether you like who you're selling to, it's do you sell or not. Not who's coming there, not what they're gonna put there, none of that. That's your entire involvement. And you need to realize that because you've stepped past governance into management. You've micromanaged things. You're now trying to see what the offer is, and you've sent, you guys called Jim Kitchen everything in the world, a liar and dishonest and everything, but when you guys talked about your whatever counteroffer that wasn't a counteroffer, but you got a realtor right there. She can tell you how counteroffers work. Wasn't a counteroffer, but anyway, when you did that, you went to Jim Kitchen, the guy that you just said couldn't be trusted. So you said, go out here with millions of dollars and then just do your thing. So, I don't know. I feel like the board needs to just think about that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
can I have some extra time? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public that would like to address the board on agenda-specific items only? Okay, none? Thank you for the public's comment, all of you. We'll go on to the consent agenda.
I have something to say about this.
The consent agenda?
Yeah,
Go ahead, tell us.
the closed session minutes do not match the open session minutes. I was not present in closed session, so I definitely didn't support the motion to go into closed session. So these are inaccurate, the closed session minutes.
What's not accurate?
It says that I was present and I wasn't.
Okay.
And it also says that I supported the motion to go into closed and I wasn't here.
Is there any other corrections?
No, I don't think so.
All right, we can make that adjustment.
Are you talking about the 610, the closed ones that were right here?
Yeah,
Okay, you said you approved it to go into closed session?
no, I did not.
She-
I was
she-
not
Oh, I see
present.
you. I
Yeah,
got you.
I said the open
I
session
got you.
meetings are correct, minutes
Okay.
are correct. The closed
So-
session meetings are,
Right, I see what you're
Excuse-
saying. I can fix that. Also, the top of it is just like, it's like an attendance of who was there, and it does say you left, so it would be hard for you to approve it if you,
yeah.
so yeah, I will fix that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Approval of the agenda, there may be one slight change. I'd like everybody to pay attention to board action items number 10D. Annual approval of individual staff contracts. I'm going to let Ken explain it, but I'm in agreement that he brought these contracts to us because we wanted to see what everybody had for a contract. In our board policy says he handles that, but he was kind enough to draw up the contracts, put them in here, and I don't think there's really room for us to approve or disapprove of them. That's a function underneath board policy. I don't remember the number exactly, but that's his purview. I mean, we could do it, and he said he has no problem with it, but I don't see we have to drag that on, so. Ken, you want to?
Yeah, it's Board Policy 4205, B, hiring. The board will determine the hiring process for the superintendent. For all other positions, the superintendent or designee will determine the process to consider and interview qualified applicants. The superintendent or designee is authorized to hire non-exempt staff, temporary and substitute employees. So when we're looking at the contracts this evening, we really have two different pots. We have the pot of individuals that fit in the category of non-exempt staff, temporary substitute employees. We have another pot of, which would include teachers, non-teaching professionals. A non-teaching professional would be a social worker, a speech pathologist, someone else working in the building, as well as supervisors, teaching professionals, and administrators. They fit into a different pot. That pot of employees, which includes the teachers here today, to be recognized for hire, that has to come to the board for approval per our board policy. So when you look at the groups of contracts that are in there, they were broken out into multiple categories and groups. So if you want to turn your attention to one of the groups on there would be central office administrators. That would be a group of contracts that has to come to the Board of Education for approval. And it says on there, 6/24/26, central office administrators. They must come to the board for approval. The other one in there that needs approval, other administrators not in PAT. There's one administrator in the very back that would need approval. And then there's two more in the front that are in administrator-type positions as a coordinator and a supervisor. So when I started drafting all of this up for this evening, I know we had a conversation in committee last week about it. I added it to the weekly update in regards to the board policy and what board policy it was, and we separated them into other categories. You'll notice you have 3 other groups of contracts. You have a central office staff group, building and ground staff, and then tech/communication contracts. Those contracts would fall within the board policy of B, which would be non-exempt staff, temporary substitute employees. They wouldn't fall into that category of teachers, administrators, of that category. So you really have 2. You've got 3 groups that fall into the first section and 2 groups that do not. Do you have any questions about that?
So out of the ones in this packet, I mean, we have, I think it's like 4 or 5 packets. Other administrators not in PAT and central office administrators are the only 2
Correct.
packets that would require our attention.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
But I did spend the last week or so, as conversations took place, trying to compile all existing contracts for all employees, regardless of what role they're in. If they were in the union itself, it's easy to keep track, but really tracking down, and I'll be honest, I'll continue to probably find 1 or 2 here or there. It's just walking in and trying to gather all of those into one centralized location is what we're at right now as a central office staff, trying to work together to identify all of these. So moving forward, we could have conversations in February, March next year about contracts that will be coming up for renewal. We can have a personnel committee meeting prior to the end of March about all of the contracts, where they sit, and that renewal process.
That would be super helpful, I don't think, I mean, I haven't been here that long, but I think it would be super helpful to understand.
He was nice enough to find the contracts that we asked about.
Here you go.
Yeah. We asked about it, Ken, if you recall, Kenny, on financial operations and bonding. I think me, you, and Jenny were there, and we talked about it. We found some positions that people were working here, but there was really not a contract that identified them, I don't think. So Ken was nice enough to pull them all, find contracts. It was never given to us before. It's not necessary that we vote on these, according to our board policy. So hence, I would like to take that one off the agenda. Number D, not the other ones, for the administrators and some of our top-level people. Those still have to be approved because they're individual contracts. Administrator contracts, excuse me.
Do you need a motion for that?
Out of the packet, which of the packets is that, just because I was trying to take notes as we went through? Or which,
So the two packets that would need board approval would be, the first one is central office administrators. The second one would be other administrators not in the PAT. The PAT is your Building Principal Administrator Association.
okay,
I'm good with that.
but you said that, so which, out of these packets, which fall under D, the annual approval of individual staff contracts?
The rest of them, I think, oh.
Buildings and ground staff, tech communication contracts, and I don't know what
Central
about
office
other.
staff.
Central office.
Central, what about other? Is that your,
Yes, and other as well. The other,
central office?
going to add one more to the approved by you, which would be the last one, which would be other, because they do sit in a teacher-type role.
Okay.
I know. We tried to organize them
Right.
as best as possible, but walking in and trying to gather them has been a entertaining task.
Okay, so other, we do not need to approve, right?
Other, I would say, I would ask you to,
Okay.
even though it's not a technical teaching contract, he does sit in a teaching type role in the virtual setting.
Yep.
Okay, and as we were going through, I thought you said that we did need to do tech communications.
No.
We do not? Okay.
That does not include Travis. Travis fits in the central office administrator group.
And we do not need to do building and grounds.
Correct.
That's Bill Loader's people. We do have to do one for Bill Loader.
Bill does fit in the central office administrator group.
We do or do not central office?
Central office staff, no. Central office staff are not central office administrators. They are the staff that works within this building. The central office administrators fit into the central office administrator pack. So in that pack for central office administrators would be the assistant superintendent of business and finance, the executive director of student services, executive director of technology, and the director of operations and transportation. You'll notice listed there, but we don't currently have positions for, would be the executive director of curriculum and instruction, as well as the deputy superintendent. You're not taking action on those, and you are also not taking action currently on the human resources.
Okay, Chuck, so in the last 2 minutes that I've had to read this policy, the policy talks about hiring and background checks. It doesn't talk about their contracts. There's nothing in here that says a word about a contract.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused on that too, because when I read it, I was under the impression that they had a union contracted that already existed. And,
Says the hiring is, I'm sorry, Autumn.
okay, go, sorry.
So, no, you're fine.
Go ahead, Ken, finish up. You
It
got the
says-
floor. Go ahead.
It says the hiring decisions are based on the qualifications, skills, knowledge, abilities, education, on and on and on. In making the hiring decision, the board or the designee will consider enrollment, operational requirements, financial needs in the district's best interest. It says the board will consider. And there's nothing in here that says anything about a contract. So I don't know how 4205 applies.
Are you saying unless there's an existing contract?
I don't care if there is one. If it has to be renewed or has an expiration date, or you do a financial change to it or anything, it would need board approval.
Okay,
If we can't give stipends out to everybody, then how do we give pay raises to people?
I got you.
You can't arbitrarily just give out money. So, and there's nothing in that policy that says anything about a contract, and it talks about the hiring. That you gotta do background checks, and you gotta do this, and you gotta do that, but it doesn't. I mean, no one wants me to read all this.
No, you're okay.
But-
I'm glad that you did read it all.
You know, I mean, it defines what a school is. School means a classroom.
So is your pleasure to keep D on then? I have no problem with it either way.
Well, my pleasure is to leave it on there for at least, here, you can have that back.
The
At least a discussion for the
Okay.
fact that I think you can't use that policy to say we don't need to vote on those other contracts. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know how we vote on some contracts, but not other contracts. If you can find me a policy that says, well, we're gonna vote on this group of contracts, but we're not gonna vote on this group of contracts, then show me the policy and okay. So like I said, that's a hiring practice. That's not anything to do with contracts. So, yeah, leave it on there and we can bring it up for discussion, but
Okay.
I don't believe, put it this way, that policy does not differentiate between any of these 5 packets. And if it does, please enlighten me. But I don't see where it differentiates between any of those 5 packets that we were given, where we would vote on 2 and not the other 3.
Any other discussion? We'll leave it on the agenda then and just make the changes to Autumn's concerns. Is that okay then?
Yes.
All right?
motion.
Roll call vote?
No, we got a motion and a second.
Go ahead.
I'll
I thought you already
motion.
voted it. I thought you already motioned it.
No, we didn't
Okay,
motion.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, I'll motion to approve the consent agenda with the changes discussed.
On your language of not being.
Yeah, on the
Okay.
closed session
On the
minutes.
closed session minutes. Yep, okay. There's a motion for that.
I'll second.
Second by Jenny. Roll call vote, please, Sue.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Jenny Walgast,
Yes.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Carrie Germain,
Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Autumn Henry.
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to number 6, board action items, SCE employment. So who's going to represent that today? All right, come up, Ms. Briggs.
Good evening. My name is Heather Briggs. I'm the proud principal of Deke Elementary, and I have before you Harley Cooper, which we are recommending to hire as a new kindergarten teacher at Deke Elementary. We recently completed our interviews, and we were so impressed with Harley and the experience that she brings with her. She recently graduated from Saginaw Valley State University, and she has done her student teaching through Montrose School District. She's done that within a special education classroom for early childhood, as well as a kindergarten classroom, as well as a number of other placements where she got to experience what it's like to be a teacher in those early childhood settings. So we're very excited to have her on board, and we would highly recommend that you hire her this evening.
Thank you. Harley, just step up to the mic and give us a few short words about yourself and why you want to come to Swartz Creek.
Hi, so I've always wanted to come to Swartz Creek because it feels like home. I actually went to Morrish Elementary when I was a kindergartner,
Okay.
before moving to New Lothrop, where I did my schooling and then moved on to Saginaw Valley. It just feels like home, this district, to me. I've felt welcome since the beginning of my interview process and then meeting the superintendent. The values really align with who I am as a person and who I want to teach my students to be. So I feel like there couldn't be any better place for me to be. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions by our board members?
I move we hire Harley Cooper, that was?
Motion by Andrea Fick to hire Harley.
Support.
Support? Any further discussion? None? Sue, roll call vote, please.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Andrea Fick.
Yes.
Carrie Germain.
Yes.
Kim Winter.
Yes.
7 yes.
7-0 passes. Congratulations, Harley.
Thank you
Welcome
so
to meet the board
much.
members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Harley. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Heather. We put this at the beginning now so you guys can be dismissed instead of waiting for everybody.
Can I backtrack for a second?
Sure. You want the floor?
Yeah,
What's the question?
okay, sorry, I'm a scatterbrain. The payment of bills, is that normally in the beginning of our board packet, or is,
It's in our consent agenda.
because it's separate, I just didn't see one.
Oh,
In mine. I just want to make,
I thought
You
there
didn't
was
see
one-
the packet? The packet's in the,
after finance
in the
committee?
committee meetings, yeah.
Okay, so
'Cause
we
usually
approve it twice?
finance, I don't know, it's always done that way.
Okay.
Finance, it
We
gets.
approve the
its
report that Ken gives if you agree with it or not.
I thought we vote on that during, after Ken's report too. Or did something change?
It's always been there.
Because we
But-
always vote after the finance,
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's where it's been.
yeah, okay.
If you'd like, it can be removed and just moved to the finance. It's just always been there, since I started.
Okay. All right.
If you guys want, I
vote.
can remove it. It's up to you.
We're-
And it could just be voted on with Ken.
Okay, well, are we voting on it twice? No?
Did I know?
I was going to say that you're voting on the checks, disbursements in the consent agenda, and you're voting on the financials in the financial committee minutes.
Okay,
They're two separate reports,
okay,
but they're completely
But one packet.
They are, it's two different in one packet. They're two reports in one packet.
The check listing, the one that has the check listing is the one you're approving on the consent agenda, which
Okay.
is disbursements, just the checks that went out the door for that month. The cover sheet looks very similar, but that one just says the total amount per fund of checks that went out the door. The financial one, that cover sheet shows, it has two columns, and it shows the cash balance at the end of that month and the year-to-date interest, and then on the back, it's every fund's financial as of that month end. So that.
I don't know if I'm looking at that, yeah.
So if you go in a few pages to this part.
Okay,
It looks like it should actually be two packets, maybe.
yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, Ken, your report, please.
Thank you. Summer brings a busy time of the year for school districts. As we move through June, July, August, one of the big things happening around in the school district is the work being done for building and grounds. I had a great opportunity this week to go around with Bill in terms of our last week and look at the bond work. I'm so impressed, I'll be honest with you, from day one, the students were gone, the staff moved out, and the construction teams moved right in. Porta potties being delivered, dumpsters being delivered, people moving nonstop trying to get things. I had a chance to tour the high school and the middle school, and just teams of people tackling things, trying to get everything accomplished during those summer months. Everyone I've talked to have been extremely impressed with that turnaround time. They said the last time you went through some bond work, it took a little while to get started. There was no pause. They quickly jumped in there. If on your way out this evening, you can look at some of the renderings, which are in the hallway, that show some of the flooring examples, as well as the carpet and the tile going into both the high school and the middle school. So great opportunity. So hats off not only to the crew, but to the staff. Getting ready for that type of transition is huge. Getting ready to the last day of school is your last day of school is a lot to ask of a teacher. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all that work and that stress that went into getting ready. So now we can move everything and get ready to start the next year. Also during the summer months, maintenance. Had a chance to go over to the bus garage the other day just to look at what was going on, to see the maintenance that's happening. There's a lot that goes into a school district during this downtime on that maintenance side, looking at other classrooms, looking at the things that have to be done. So hats off to that side of to the building and grounds crew, the construction crew, as well as our building staff to really transition out. Human resources is another area in the summer months that is giant. Currently, we have 7 elementary teaching staff. I think with this last one, down to 6, that we'll be hiring for. We have a secondary math teacher we're looking that's posted right now. We have 5 special education postings across the district and 3 administrator positions posted right now. One's just for an interim, human resources, but the other one would be the curriculum executive director that we're wrapping up, as well as an elementary principal that will stay posted until July 7th. That time during, unlike other professions, you get a big transition in the summer months. People move, people transition for whatever reason. It really puts a strain on that district, and we're working great as a team right now, trying to put those pieces together. If you walked into my office, you could see a little whiteboard, a big whiteboard in there, listing all those positions, where we're at, what's happening with it. Extremely impressed, though, not only with the administrator interviews that we've gone through, just talking with the elementary principals and the secondary administrators, how impressed they've been with all of the applicants and who they're looking to hire. Having to make some really challenging decisions because the applicant pool is large and it's qualified. They're coming in some great individuals. We just hired a great one right here. Had a chance to meet with her last week. Food distribution is happening. So in the most recent social media post, we put it out there that on Thursdays from 2 to 5 at Moorish, we're giving away food for the week for kids. So if you're out and about, you see that post, please make sure you stop in. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the idea that a joint statement did go out, a joint statement between administration and the Swartz Creek Education Association, about just the collaboration and the working together. For us to announce that we are pleased to have worked collaboratively in good faith throughout the collective bargaining process to reach a tentative agreement. I'm very thankful that group in terms of that time that we got to sit down, really work through some of the process and the procedures to get to that tentative agreement part. We've got a couple more hoops to jump through before we can say we have a contract, but we have posted that August 31st is that first day of school. The rest of the calendar will be coming soon. I know we're really looking for it, but we can advertise that first side of it and really look forward to that continued collaboration and work with this education association.
Any questions of Ken?
I think he says a lot of it in his weekly updates too, so I appreciate, sometimes it's good to hear it twice, but yeah. It's consistent, so that's great.
Any other questions? Okay. We'll go to board subcommittee reports. We can start out with whoever would like to take it. I don't care who does it. Who would like to start? Policy?
Yeah, mine's quick, I'll go.
Okay.
We called the policy committee of the whole meeting to order at 5 PM on Monday, June 15th, here in the conference room. Present was myself, Kim Winter, Mr. J, Jenny Wolgast, and from the public, TJ Heck. The agenda items, proposed handbook changes for 26-27 school year. We received copies with the changes that were made and final copies for review. We're gonna review those before the next meeting and discuss any other changes that we propose. And it will be added to the August agenda for board action. Public comment was given, committee comment, there was none. The next meeting will be Monday, July 13th at 5 PM at 8354 Cappy Lane. And the meeting adjourned at 5:24 PM.
Thank you, Adam. Does anybody have any questions of Autumn? None? Okay, Jenny, do you want to go next with your
Sure.
bond report?
Yep. Flip to that one. Okay, so we met on June 16th at 3 PM. It was the bond committee. Present were Chuck Melky, myself, Ken Engel, Ken J, Jamie Cowan, Bill Loader, Jessica Walters from French, Sydney Schultz from Auk, Aaron St. Dennis from Auk, from the public, TJ Heck, and Al Jory. We called the meeting to order at 3:07. So we had some updates on the bond work by Auk. So Deke is, they have construction equipment on site, and they're working on the parking lot. For Gaines, Mystic has completed their marking. They're waiting on permits from Gaines Township. Playground equipment has been ordered, and classroom furniture has been ordered for all the K-5 buildings. They're still working on HVAC testing and balancing for all the buildings. PAC lighting is complete. The high school and middle school demolition began as soon as the students and teachers were out. There's abatement work in progress. So they showed us some pictures. It'd be kind of cool if we could show those at some point. But they showed us that the media center and restrooms for both the high school and the middle school are just completely gone, all cleared out. And they also have the choir room risers and the courtroom windows pulled out in the middle school. So for the design and planning work, they're currently working for all the 2027 projects for the K-5 buildings. And we're also looking at design work for the middle school pool renovations, and that comes up again later. So we also talked about a second part of the furniture order. So we have non-classroom teacher furniture, and we're going to be voting on that tonight. So this is going to be Elms and Moore speech, tech, and offices, BLC offices, high school counseling offices. So furniture for those non-classroom rooms. So for the pool update, so they did bring in a vendor, Councilman and Hunter, just to get some assistance in assessing the current state of the pool and what we might need to do for work for that. They can come in and do a complete in-depth on-site assessment, and they had like a sample contract that would cost about $5,000 just starting at. There were a lot of additional line items for that. And that would be just to be a full evaluation of the entire pool area, so like all the equipment, the pool, diving board, locker rooms, everything. So for just the diving board, they did note that there used to be a high dive board next to where the current one is. So they could possibly put a new board in that location rather than having to do all the work, like the foundation for where the current diving board is, which would likely be expensive. So if we do get a new board, it's gonna need to be a custom order, so that's gonna take time and it's gonna be expensive. In the bond, part of the plan was, the pool area was part of the facility study that was done in 23 or 24. They only allocated about 15,000 for doing some lighting work, doing an ADA lift, and some paint on the stairs. And that was all that was included in the 24 bond application. So anything else would be, if we were gonna make it, bond money, it would have to be pulled from other areas. Let's see, we also discussed the middle school parking lot, the project from 2018. We did have Troon contact ASI, who was one of the vendors, to try to get that fixed up. They might be able to do that this summer, but it's more likely that they'll be able to look at that next summer. And that's that bus area, or the pickup drop-off area on the, I believe, the north part of middle school property. Let's see, public comment, we did not have any public comment. So committee comment, we definitely had a discussion about the middle school pool and kind of what our options might be, and different things that we need to consider for that. So that's gonna be definitely an ongoing discussion. So we definitely did not come to any kind of conclusion on that one yet. So board action, for tonight, we're gonna have that second furniture package that we're voting on. We adjourned at 3:50 PM, and our next meeting is Tuesday, July 14th.
Thank you, Jane. Is there any questions of the bond report?
Yeah, well, it's more
Yes.
of a comment. Well, I'll start with a question. The second furniture package, why was that not included in the first one? I know it's for two separate things, I know, but I just don't like having to go back and, yeah, and take separate action on the same thing. So is there a reason why it wasn't included, or was it one given, or
Yeah,
why we have?
that was a
Furniture.
question that came up. I don't know if Jamie
Jamie can
put you on the
stand up and
spot.
answer
I don't
that.
know if you have an answer
If you
to
would,
that.
please, Jamie, come to the podium and answer it. If you can.
Yeah,
I thought you were there and you made a good explanation.
the original furniture is all-encompassing. So we broke it down to immediate needs and the lion's share of it for expediting. We have several pieces that we may still bring forth as far as furniture and equipment, so we're not done. It was not a one and done. It was never designed to be a one and done, but the majority of the furniture was that first round, so that we could have it in the pipeline for delivery this summer and install for fall.
Yeah, I'd just like to have it all done at once, just to show that it was planned and it was, the plan is executed. Like, I don't know, that's just me, though. That's just my personal preference. I don't know about,
Didn't you add some
But-
furniture, Jamie? Some of the employees needed some extra furniture?
We
That was
broke
one
it
of the
down
concerns?
into commonalities
Yeah.
and things that made the most sense. So as Jenny mentioned, the group that we're approving right now is non-classroom staff that are more office setup versus a classroom setup. So it was a different audience, a different group, a different need, a different structure. And VLC is a unique entity in and of itself. So again, breaking those things down so that we were talking to the proper person and the group and being thorough about that conversation. It's much smaller order. It didn't need as much timeline, so we sequenced it for that reason.
Thank you.
thanks. And my other one was, I'm just gonna give my 2 cents, I wasn't at this meeting. On the pool, I would rather not skip repairing the foundation, but that's just me. I would rather get it taken care of while we can, kind of thing.
I think that was more along the lines of just getting them, because right now they're not able to have swim meets with the diving
Yeah.
board because there is no diving board. So as kind of a getting them going quicker option would be to put a diving board in that other location.
But then when does, yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there would be an option, you know, and that's something we can discuss.
This can's already been kicked. I'm not trying to kick the same
Right.
can down the road.
Right, and I don't know if there would be an option to, if we did, you know, to get something in quicker, put something in that location that could later be moved to, you know, the location of the one that's being replaced, once the other work is done to shore up. Well,
Yeah.
actually,
I mean, they're gonna be out of operation for a while anyway, if,
right, well, so getting a new, from my understanding, is putting a new board in that other location. You could order the board, you could put a board in that location as opposed to the location that it's been at recently. You would have to do a lot of other work. And it, honestly, one of the other comments from that committee was the location of where the board has been most recently is over some kind of a holding chemical tank, which is probably not an optimal place to have it anyway. So shoring that up and putting a new board there might not be the best idea anyway. It might be just smarter to plan to move it over so that it's
Right.
not over.
I get, but I wanna make sure that that is still taken care of.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because it rotted, obviously enough to make it
Right.
dysfunctional.
Jenny's correct. I went down there with Bill the other day, went in the tunnels, climbed up there, saw where it was. The diving board is right above a catch basin with the chemicals. So it would be moved over, away from that catch basin from the pool area.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm for that, I just wanna make sure it's all taken care of while, just like the furniture thing, while we're there, so.
With the furniture, if I could address that real quick, sometimes when we are looking at the bond work, we're gonna put in a couple phases of furniture. One of them would be to get classrooms up and running right away. We wanna make sure that when we finish the summer, that we have our classrooms for our students ready to roll. There'll be times where we won't be able to bring in all that furniture as well as we are continuing to do bond work. So there's a little bit of an art and a science to make sure that we have the things we need. So that's why there's this phases of them.
And I'm gonna say this, but that also makes me think that maybe the other furniture isn't so necessary if we're functioning, kids are, you know, learning without it, so.
I would also think, just like logistics-wise, when you're bringing all the packaging and things like that, you kind of run out of room at a point, so it might not be feasible to bring all of it in at once. You might have to do it in sections anyway, just because you don't have the room for unboxing and assembling.
Gyms in every building. Okay. There's a gym in every building.
So are we gonna look into doing this assessment?
That's an ongoing conversation. We definitely did not discuss trying to sign that agreement with that particular vendor because they wanted, again, it was starting out at $5,000 just to have them come in and look, and that was just, the likelihood that it would stay at that amount, again, just for them to come on site and look was very low. It would increase from that, and that's just for an
Can
assessment.
you email that out just so we can take a look and see what the line item that they were willing to,
Yeah,
who has that?
Can you share that with all of us, Jamie, because we didn't receive that. We saw it on a screen, but we weren't.
I'll get it to everyone via email tomorrow.
Thank you.
Just to touch on that, Andrea, there's, without going down the list, and I'd be doing it from memory, so I'd shorten it or get it wrong, but there's plenty of wrong in that pool area, from ventilation is rusted out, stairs, there's locker rooms issues, there's leakage, there's all kinds of issues. It's bigger than $5,000, and it's bigger than us just fixing it.
For sure. So this is not gonna offset costs by any means, but just curious, maybe you could email out to us, Jamie. If we get money from the other schools that participate here, I'm sure there's a little bit, I'm sure it's not much, but if we're still co-swimming with like Flushing, and is it just Flushing still? Okay.
It's huge.
I think Powers comes over to use our pool too.
I would have to verify that.
I've never heard that one, but if you could just, I mean, whatever it is, I'd be curious to know what we're getting from the other. Just, thank you.
Okay, any other further discussion on that? I believe that was the starting price for the assessment.
Right, and that wasn't for the work, that was
Yeah,
just
that's
for
that's
the
assessment,
vendor to
see
come
what
out
it would
and
cost.
assess.
Right, and Hawk gave us kind of a general idea, it's gonna be quite costly, which we're not opposed to doing, we just wanna do it once and be done with it, from my understanding. Ken, Treasurer's report, please.
Sure. On June 16th, we met here, the administration building from 354 to 506. I was present. Superintendent was present. Melky, Loader, Walgas, Cowan, Jory, and Heck were all present. Under board action, and I'm not going to get into that, but it was the second furniture order. It's already been discussed. The only thing that may be worth adding to that is there's still approximately 22% of the fund balance left in that line item at this time. We're here to approve general fund final for 25-26, and also the general fund for 26-27 budgets. The administration and central office contract renewals, there's discussion, and as like Ken stated earlier, he was still searching, and he said he still may find somewhere. But that was a lengthy topic. Under financials, May of 2026 budget, financials were okay. Jamie presented that as well, as she did the two budget years. 2025 bond from 3/13/25 through 5/31/26 audit produced no, Jamie, what's that word again?
Arbitrage.
And what it basically means is penalty. There were none. The next audit will be on 3/31/27, so that line is a good thing. Grants, GSRP Playground at its tune of 10 grand grant was submitted. The grant has a 10% match, and GSRP funds can be used to do that match, per Ken. The WIOA, and I'm not gonna pretend I remember that one either, Jamie.
I say WIOA, but it's the Adult Ed Federal Grant.
Yes, and that's what I put in the back of it. It's adult ed for the sake of argument. It was renewed for $40,000. And other, Genesee County Road Commission, no school speed zone on Linden, update. Or schools, excuse me, that won't be updated till we get new start times in the fall, and then it'll be, they'll update what goes on the road. Still waiting on a quote from Captain Murphy from the Sheriff's Department, reference SRO positions. At-risk inquiry will be started later. Committee members commented on the diving board, and I'm not going to get back into that. We've already talked it, but there are multiple issues, and I will encourage each of you. Bill invited the entire board to make an appointment with him, or if you want to do a field trip, I guess together would be fine too, but to do a walkthrough, I think there's some things there we need to visually see. I don't think we're gonna be, I don't think I can describe what he described. And, you know, yes, maybe we can fix the diving board before school starts, but there's bigger problems than that. There was no public comment, there was no board comment.
I see your note. Sorry. Are you done?
What, my note?
Yeah.
Yeah, my note was, I don't know if anything was ever addressed from last month in reference to, collecting or presenting, the two previous board members and the two current board members with the rest of their pay from last year.
Yeah, I know you said that a few times,
Yes.
to say the least.
So tonight
Why is
before,
that
tonight before it's
corrected?
over, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
That's it. If anyone has any questions, feel free. I'll do my best, or I'll
What was the,
beg
idea
Jamie.
again? What was the audit you said about? I stepped out of that meeting for about 5 minutes, if you recall. I had to take a phone call. Something about it.
Oh, that instead of using, you know, a word that none of us knows, basically, they do an audit each year, and the audit was good. There was no penalty.
So you're saying Lewis and Knopf? Is that who did it?
I didn't say who did it.
Oh.
I just said that it wasn't on who did it on our agenda. It just said that there was an audit from 3/13 to 5/3, or 313 of 25 through 531 of 26, and it produced no penalty.
Just
So
for the bond.
For the bond, thank you. Okay.
we got to add a boy,
Okay.
add a girl.
All right. Any other questions of Ken's report? If not, a motion to accept.
I move we accept his report.
Motion's been made by Andrea Fick to accept Ken's report,
I'll second.
seconded by Jenny Walgas. Any further discussion? Sue, roll call vote, please.
Autumn Henry,
Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Carrie Germain.
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion passes, thank you. Next thing will be board discussion items. We have two on that. One is the.
You gonna do your,
Oh,
gotta do
geez,
your
I missed my report, I'm sorry. I'm not that important, so I apologize. I apologize. We had the Swartz Creek Building and Site meeting, operations meeting on 6/16 at 5:07 PM at the Administration Building, right after Ken's and Jenny's. Present was Ken J., Bill Loader, Jenny Walgas, Jamie Cohen, Al Jory, Dr. Hecht, myself, and I believe, Ken, you left. You had to go somewhere. I did. Great. First thing was operations update. Custodial staff have been reassigned to all the elementary schools and begin the deep summer cleaning process. Once occupancy is available at the high school and the middle school, they will transition to those buildings to prepare them for the start of school as they're doing construction now. The maintenance and tech departments collaborated last week to remove all electronics, projectors, computers, boards, et cetera, from all the classrooms, which saved time. Thanks to Travis and Bill for that. Ongoing coordination with bond project managers ensure that both buildings all remain on schedule to be completed at the start of school. It's not a guarantee, but right now Bill's saying that they're on schedule. All yearly backflow preventer inspections was completed throughout all the buildings and districts and sewer systems, and they all passed. The building department will also do routine maintenance on all boilers and heat pumps over the summer and recharge any air units that need them if needed, clean them throughout the district, which is a large job. Gaines Kitchen, they've already finalized everything there, I believe, obtained permits. Case Erectors continues all the steel work for all the equipment above. Advanced Mechanicals fabricating the RTU curbs. Weinstein Electric is working on the electrical panels. The kitchen demolition and remodeling started along with the foundation work for the outdoor refrigeration and freezer units, and hopefully will be up and operational by the start of school for Gaines. As people know, we've been transporting food out there, so they're going to have it on site from now on. Teachers have done an excellent job in packing and labeling materials in their classrooms in preparation for the move at high school, because they had to move everything out of the high school and middle school, I believe, or most of it anyways. Custodial staff are working to clean out all the tunnels. Powell Moving Company will begin moving the furniture once the high school work is completed. Sinclair remains on schedule to begin and complete playground equipment installation at all the elementaries, and hopefully they'll be balanced with all the same material, or at least close to it. And work has begun on Deke, all the major work being done there. The end of the year transportation stats, Bill wanted me to relay to the rest of the board. We currently have 20 drivers. They average 5 hours per day, 64 different routes a day for all of our students. This will be reduced because we'll have less shuttling once we go to the K-5 configurations. Students transported were 3,471, just the field trips, athletic trips completed. That was 504 trips total for those 3,400 kids. None were canceled, everybody was safe, no extraordinary events there. And Bill wanted to say special thanks to his mechanics and John Myham. The total miles traveled and athletic trips and field trips alone were, which I don't know if that number is right, 240,000 miles. 240.639. Okay, 240.639. That just seems like a lot for field trips. Isn't that what he said? And athletics. That just seems like a lot of miles.
That's a comma?
It's 240,000.639 miles.
You're going to every football game.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot. I know, but a lot of them are local, so. It's okay. I shouldn't have said anything. That's what he said. We'll keep moving on. Yep. Public and committee comments, Mary Crapel signs. We asked about the two signs I'd like one posted on pickleball with, once again, the hours and a 1-hour time limit if somebody's waiting, and also to put a sign on in the back of the ball scoreboard. I asked about getting a price for a ice ring and for the winter time for the children, and putting up a small pavilion. Dr. Heck suggested, and I think Jenny did too, that we advertise all the stuff that's being improved at all the schools by doing it on internet and using Michelle Corbett to do that. All the new improvements so the public can see it as it's going in. And I think Bill mentioned that the gentleman that was gonna sell us the property near the VLC, check that, I misspoke myself, the Little Dragon Center, has not responded, so he's gonna continue to work there on the parking lot. He's gonna give him another 10 or 15 days. If you recall in the past, we agreed to buy some property from him for $5,000. I believe that was the price. And he's not responded. At first, I believe he said yes, and then he just not responded. That was to buy 20 by 80 feet of property. And Al Jory was at our meeting and asked if we had any interest in selling a strip of land near the cage, and I told him he'd have to come to the board and ask them. And of course, if we have an unsolicited bid, we'll look at it. And then the next meeting date is July 14th, 2026. And I did contact through Ken, what's his first name? Ken too? Ken Gardner? What's his name? Tim Gardner, about the sale of property. And he said we could accept unsolicited bids. And then if we were serious about it, we could declare it, I believe, surplus property. I just received that memo. I'll forward it to you. Well, I believe I received it Monday, maybe Friday night? Yeah, Monday, yeah. So I'll forward that to everybody, but that was the gist of it. The meeting concluded at 5:26 p.m., and the next meeting will be on July 14th, 2026, starting at 3 p.m. and going to who knows how long. Okay, any questions?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Kim.
I'm just wondering, you mentioned the ice rink.
Yeah.
Is there, do we know a cost on that, and will it be like this winter?
Well, originally, when we talked about the ball field and everybody was nice enough to go along with it, we talked about putting in an ice rink so it could be used all season long for everybody in the community. So, no, there's no price on it because they never, when they got down to nitty gritty, they never put it in. So he'll get us a price and we'll make a decision on whether we want to do it or not. And there's an empty piece of grass there on the east side of the building, almost dead center by the batting cages. So, we talked about a couple scenarios there. I want an ice ring there, maybe make an extra 12 or 13, 14 spots there, and then in the wintertime, put an ice ring in for the kids, and a small pavilion just to the south of that. But we got to see how much money it's going to cost, who can do it. Hawk is, I think, or somebody's going to maybe give us a preliminary price. I don't recall that for sure, though. Or maybe Bill is going to approach them, I think is what was going to happen, and ask them for that, and then we'll get a price, and I'll bring it back to the board and see what you guys' pleasure is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, I have a question.
Your question.
Did we vote on that cage land before? Didn't we take action on that before?
No,
We never did?
no. It's completely different. He asked for permission to use the driveway and to join the driveways, and
Okay.
he's asking for something totally
I
different.
just wanted to
now.
make sure
No,
because
it's all
there's
right.
rules about bringing stuff up twice, so, okay.
I think we're okay. Yeah, any questions? Okay, now we'll move on to, sorry, I got ahead of myself, board discussion items. First, we have Morse Elementary discussion. The board advised me to have the potential buyers of Morse Elementary to bring a sealed bid to the board, and then it's an unsolicited bid. Mr. Cooper called me a couple weeks ago, asked if I could do it. I asked you guys. You guys gave me the parameters, and we're here to do that. Mr. Cooper, if you'd like to come up, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Melky.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for giving me some of your time this evening. I appreciate it. Per your request, I have a sealed offer.
I don't know if anybody wants to touch it, but I'll take it. I'll take it. We can wait till you, I mean, I really don't know what to do. It's an unsolicited bid. We just open it up, right? Ken, do you want to open it? You're the treasurer. You go ahead and open it. Here's your sealed envelope. Wynn, if you'd like to discuss it or say anything while he's opening it, we're all ears.
As you indicated, it's a sealed, unsolicited offer. It's a serious offer. It is a cash offer, closing in 90 days after the due diligence, so it's really 100 days. A substantial deposit at the title company. And I would point out that there are absolutely no costs to the district. All of the transfer taxes, all of the normal costs for title, survey, et cetera, would be borne by the purchaser. So the number at the top is truly the number that you would receive at the closing. I can't imagine the district has any past taxes that are due or any IRS liens, but, okay, so it's a straightforward number. I provided in the offer for the district to lease the school for $1 a year for 1 year with an option for an additional or second year.
Two total?
All of the, yes.
2 years total?
Yes. Is that all right if I respond?
Yes, absolutely, sir.
Sorry.
So yes, 2 years total. And the timeline is fairly important. We understand that, you have to make some decisions and you'd have to take some actions. So, if there's a specific plan, I'm willing to listen.
Well, I want everybody to be respectful, and I'd like to see the price. You don't want to open
So
it?
quick clarification.
We'll do it one at a time. Andrew Fick, you have the floor.
I mean, I just looked over his shoulder really quick, and so you said all of the money at closing, not, I saw the deposit.
Yes, ma'am.
For due diligence time.
All of it at closing.
At closing, and
This
then
is,
$1 a
this
year.
is the simplest, most straightforward, direct offer that y'all could ever get.
It's the
Okay.
same as the last one, right?
Oh, just
It
hold on,
is-
she's got the floor.
It is all of the money at closing. You put it in your account, starts earning interest immediately, and yes, at closing,
In 2 years, okay.
correct.
Is that,
And let me point out one additional fact. We anticipated a problem. The property would become taxable after the closing. I'm sure you understand that as well as, better than everybody, most as well. And the buyer will pay the taxes. So,
which won't be cheap on $40 million.
I
mean,
don't,
we don't pay any, so I mean, yeah, we're gonna get some money back from all
right,
the
you
houses.
will, you will get money back, and what it's assessed at, I can't tell you standing here today, and I wouldn't even hesitate to guess, but.
None of our business anyways, if you're going to pay it.
The fair market value of the school
Theoretically.
is significantly less than the assessor is duty bound to assess it for fair market value. So I don't believe it would be assessed for $40 million. They'd have a hard time defending that. So,
Okay, Autumn, you had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought, yeah. For everybody in the public, it's the same amount that was offered last time. Apparently, there's less fees involved for the district, but I lost it. Yeah. I just,
Okay.
yeah. Land goes on demand, not on, so that's what drives the cost of it, and the demand on that land is pretty high, so.
Okay, we
well,
can't-
the
yeah,
offer's pretty
We're not going
high.
to negotiate.
Yeah,
We're going.
No, I'm not.
we have
I'm
to
just
set
saying,
board
like-
parameters
Yeah,
first.
I'm just saying,
By
to bring back
policy.
the same is kind of insulting.
If the board wants to set parameters and discuss it.
It's really not the same, Ms. Henry.
No, it's actually, yeah, it's
It's
different.
all of the cash now. It's substantially different than it
Which means
was.
we can collect interest on the extra $5 million
We're
for
gonna give you
a couple years, which is great.
All 40 million.
Yes, but before we were in 35, and then 5 was being held, right? So,
Yeah, it's just, this is just a straight,
perfect.
simple, direct offer.
Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Cooper? And you're representing, it said in here, the name
I
of
represent Maple and Hill LLC.
Got it.
Right. And I would be happy to sit with whoever the board directs me to.
Well, what we have to do now, when, just so you can take back to your client, is that we have to set board parameters on what we can and cannot do. Designate somebody if we decide to even explore it, designate a couple people, or 3 or 4, to meet with the representative. Obviously, you're the representative of Maple Hill LLC.
Correct.
And go from there, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's what Mr. Gardner told us, basically. Yep. And it's in our policies. It says it right in there. We can designate the superintendent, or whoever we choose. And it was on policy, I don't remember the policy number, 35 something. 3305, I was gonna say 3505. So I guess what we'll do is we'll have board discussion throughout the evening on it and decide what the board wants to do. And I thank you for your offer. If there's anything else that I need to clear up, board? Anybody down that way have any questions?
Not right now until I get to see the whole thing. I just glanced at it real quick, so thank you,
Okay.
Wynn, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you for
The
not bringing
offer-
us less than you offered before, because that would
I'm
be
sorry, what
normal.
was your comment?
Just that it wasn't less than it was before, because
Oh,
I was
I
semi-prepared for
misunderstood.
that.
I misunderstood. No,
No,
you know, I understand, Ms. Henry, and I understand, you know, what you're saying. They are trying to be more than fair. And so it's a straightforward offer. I look forward to, it's a lot of money.
Thank you. I remind the board that not to interrupt the speakers. Thank you. Any other questions, concerns, or discussion at this point? I'm not saying we're going to make a decision this evening, but we'll have, I'm sure, board discussion now that the offer has been submitted.
If I may, Mr. Melky,
Yeah.
with one more. I didn't anticipate that y'all would give me an answer tonight. I'm not that crazy. So the offer is valid until the next regularly scheduled board meeting, plus 24 hours.
Okay.
So
Well, we'll have,
gives you an opportunity to
yeah,
take a
we'll have
look
Ms.
at it.
2
Gould.
weeks, right? Isn't our next board meeting?
Your
You
next-
want us to make a decision in 2 weeks? Okay.
Well, that's, if that's what's in his
Okay.
purchase agreement, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sue, I guess this evening, if it pans out, make copies as soon as you can, and we'll take them home.
I'd
with
be
us.
happy to. I do want somebody to come with me, though, when I make my copies. I don't want to make that alone.
It's not the plague, but I understand your concerns. So,
Yes, thank you.
I understand your concerns, so we'll designate some poor soul to do that. So, thank you, Mr. Cooper. We're all set with you. Thank you, sir. Okay, now we're going to have 25, 26, and 26, 27 budget presentation by Ms. Jamie.
Good evening again. Let's see. I like to keep a standard format because seeing things multiple times helps enrich the understanding so that you don't have to like reorient yourself time and time again. So the setup for this discussion is the mandatory funds that need to have a preliminary budget adopted. At this time, we also have the opportunity, last opportunity, to make any amendments to those same budgets. Special revenue funds and our operating funds are required to have a preliminary budget adopted by the board by June 30. You may recall that we did food service last month. We like to do it that way because then we're really focused on food service items. We did the final, we did the preliminary, and we did the contract for Chartwell's. The other special revenue fund is student activity funds, so we will address that. And of course, the operating fund that is the main operating fund and the main requirement. So just to recap, so we have a comprehensive picture, food service fund that we have already adopted, the final budget, ending with a healthy fund balance of 24%, and next year's preliminary budget. The big change here is grant adjustments, salary changes, and the planned capital outlay expenditure, about $350 for the entire project, of Gaines Kitchen. That also is intentional because we do have excess fund balance, as we've talked about several years, related to universal feeding being the main driver of additional revenue. Now looking at student activity, again, it's a requirement to have a budget. This is all the little accounts that the various buildings have and organizations have. It's their money. We manage it for them as far as tracking, and we want to give them the opportunity to spend every dollar that they take in or that they have, so it's very preliminary and estimated. So total revenue of $250,000, and they have the ability to spend it all. The fund balance is comprised primarily of about 6 scholarship funds, the largest one being the O'Brien Scholarship. There is no change from the amended budget to the preliminary, and there was no reason to have an amended final budget. Now on to the main attraction, our operating account. Same format. This is the lens that the board adopts, which is prescribed. We look at revenue by source. So this is what we had last from, I believe, March in the amended budget. Local revenue, 7.6. State revenue, almost 40 million. Federal dollars, just over 2 million. Other, $500,000, and transfers of 50,000 coming from food service. And then this pie chart just really shows you that state aid and state categoricals make up 79% of our revenue. So changes from the state really have an impact. Now what we're projecting for the final budget, having that lens in front of you as far as what was, these are the changes that we're talking about. So local grants, interest, rental fees, we're increasing that by 170,000. State funds are both state aid as well as state grants, which are called categoricals. So that's an increase of 1.3 million. Federal grants, just over 255,000, and other, which is primarily funds from other districts, which is an increase of just under 50,000, and transfers. This is solely money from the food service fund. We start out conservatively at 50,000. Our current estimate is 150,000. And looking at that pie chart, again with this final figures, you see that the percentages are very similar. If I shared with you verbally the changes that the board already has copies of, in total, the change is 1.9 million. That's comprised of $1 million in grants alone. On the expenditure side, you will see a change in grant expenditure the same, because grants, revenue equals expense. State aid was a $500,000 adjustment, and as I mentioned, food service was 100,000. Now let's do the same with expenditures. The expenditures are prescribed at a functional level, so it's where the activity occurs. This is where we left off again with the amended budget in March. And here's the pie chart of showing concentration. Showing that again with the changes for the final. You can see that, as I mentioned before, we're changing the expense by about $1 million. Primarily that is grants. As I mentioned, $1 million swing just in grants, both revenue and expenditure. We've also increased the public improvement transfer by $1 million. You can see that on the bottom from 379. That other piece of the adjustment is the 22I funds, which come from the state targeted for transportation. We move it into the public improvement fund for future bus purchases and operating equipment. And we've adjusted salary and benefits. Some of the salary and benefits, which is down $756,000, sprinkled throughout all of those functional areas, because again, in every area you have human capital. So some of that is adjustments, some of it is staffing vacancies, and others are movements into grants. Now looking at this in total, just bird's eye view. Final budget, total revenues, $52,111,823. Total expenditures, $51,902,743, with a surplus expected of $209,080. Our expected beginning fund balance, not expected, sorry, audited beginning fund balance is $13.4 million, which gives us 13.6 ending fund balance at 26%. Now let's look at the reason we are here by mandate, which is next year's budget. I like to go through this with just kind of a lens of what's happening at different levels. So at the national level, what the federal does and makes decisions, it does impact the state's revenue stream. So some of the things that are happening here is changes to Medicaid and the SNAP program. So the federal government is making the states pay a larger share, which cuts into the amount of money they can give us. In addition, we have other things that are affecting the economy, less direct, such as what's happening with Iran and the tariffs. As we move to the state level, what you can see here is the two funds. The state, we have multiple funds. We've talked about the different kinds of funds we have here in K-12. At the state level, they have two funds. They have the general fund, general purpose, which is the blue, and then they have the school aid fund. Those are the only two funds that they use. You can see from 26 to 27 that the general fund, general purpose, the blue went down slightly, and the green went up. That's good for us that ours went up, but whenever the general purpose, general fund has a negative impact, they're looking for ways to offset that. And it tends to be through the use and creative opportunities that they have at the school aid fund. So any pressure that the general fund feels at the state level causes an impact on the state aid fund. So let's drill into some of our two main drivers, one of which is the foundation amount we get from the state per student. So in the corner is where we're at today, $10,050. Normally when we look at this, we have variance between the governor, the House, and the Senate. I think in my career, I feel like this is the first time there's been a consensus at this stage of the game. Every one of them is saying $250 as far as the increase. So it's pretty easy for me to say my assumption in the budget is going to be $250. But it's very important, and they have not done anything with the 90-10 formula, so that has not changed. And it's worth noting that in the past 6 years, we did not have a state aid budget by June 30th. They are obligated to give us one by July 1. We're still in that stance. It tells me many things. It tells me that yesterday does not necessarily give us a prediction. You may recall that last year, we did not get the state aid budget until well into October. And the year before that, we did not get an increase at all. So the way that I like to structure this, again, the way that the budget is derived is a consensus between the executive, the House, and the Senate. They all vie for the dollars being spent in their way. They all have the same amount to spend, but they spend it differently. They prioritize differently. So as I mentioned, the foundation allowance, they were aligned. That makes that one pretty easy. This is not exhaustive. These are just the highlights, the ones that affect us the most. So what we're seeing is with the 31AA money, we're seeing it continue, but at what level and for how long? The at-risk 31A funds, They're having conversations about different formulas to derive how much each school gets. In addition, some of them are talking about collapsing it entirely into the foundation, which sounds really good, except at the end, the calculation might result in less dollars for us. So it's yet to be seen. And letters has been a big conversation. Some of them are continuing that funding for that initiative, for literacy, dyslexia, and whatnot, but not everybody's on the same page as far as it being a priority item. So we shall see. Enrollment is the second biggest driver for state aid. You have the foundation allowance amount, which again, they're all in agreement, they're gonna increase it by $250. The second factor is our enrollment. Across the state, we are declining. Across the county, we are declining. And in our district, we want to be conservative and have that same expectation. This is just one point of reference. There are many places you could get a point of reference, including gut or roll forward of the classes that you have. It's speculative, and no one knows until the actual counts are in. This is a lesser point, but certainly part of the calculation. We've touched on this with the truth and taxation, our tax base. As I've explained before, state aid is predicated on the fact that each district does their part in collecting the maximum 18 mills. Then they make you whole up to that foundation allowance. This year, $10,050. If we didn't collect that 18 mills, we would have a gap, and it would be on us. When our tax values are healthy, that lessens the burden on the state, which is a win. It makes our community attractive. It makes students want to be here, stay here, and invest in our community. So it's good on so many levels. And as you can see here, ours is increased 5% over last year, and Genesee County as a whole has been nearly the same. So bringing all of this together in summation is what assumptions did we put at a high level into the preliminary budget before we know how much we're getting from the state, not just the foundation allowance, but all the categoricals, all the other elements that give us dollars, and we don't know how many students we're going to have. As well as what was mentioned earlier today is negotiations, which makes it another large variable. So for state aid, we put in increase of $250, that was easy. For enrollment, we're being very conservative. We were down about 50 last year, or shall I say this year. So we're saying down 100. There's a lot of conversation, there's a lot of changes going on. The trends are still, again, nation, state, county are still declining. So we want to be buffered for that impact. It's easier to add than it is to subtract. We made swings regarding utility. I've mentioned this specifically. We all have seen the gas pumps be $5 or more recently. Granted, they did go down, which is rare, but it was a bit of an anomaly. But fuel costs generally go up. We have energy costs to heat and cool, and we also have the fuel to run the buses and equipment. Insurance, not that it's a super large item, but it is one that we need to watch. Cyber and AI and all of those things, hacking, it's definitely conversations we have, and that's expensive. It's expensive to insure against. And as we rely more and more on technology for one reason or another, whether it be to do our jobs more efficiently or in the classroom, software in general warrants some inflation. Grant changes, I see how I have that red and green, just to emulate the fact that they go hand in hand. Revenue equals expense. You may recall from our March conversation that the federal government has collapsed the Department of Ed, not the state Department of Ed, but the federal, and right now it's holding our projections as far as the dollars that we get, primarily title funds. A lot of the ones that I've heard them eliminate did not impact us at all, but who knows what that will be. So our assumption right there is flat, And with the state, there's been some that we know were sunset. There's some that are, we're hoping that they're going to continue, and at what level. So that one's kind of a holding position. In the last column, 80% of our budget is human capital. So as I mentioned before, we know we're going to add about 3 FTE. I didn't write down my notes, but as from an earlier conversation, it's really the cost of that is like 0.78 because 2 of the social workers that we're adding are grant funded with 31 AA, so that's kind of neutral. It's a spend plan, and the other one was a resource room. Resource room is special ed, and that is offset by a reimbursement of 28 cents on the dollar. So it's not quite 3 total FTEs. We have steps that are baked into contracts. We have contract negotiations. Minimum wage is going up to $15. So there's a lot of moving parts with that. In addition, we have insurance. There's a lot of conversation about insurance and them making it more predictable and more fair. We all know we're in a consumer-driven environment as far as healthcare, and that is supposedly to help keep costs down, but healthcare costs are just, you know, out of control. So making it more predictable, I guess, is their second attempt. The hard cap is what we're under here at Swartz Creek. 2 years, last year, it was 0.02, which was barely impacted the district. However, that meant that more disproportionately impacted the premiums the employees had to pay. So you might recall we were very quick to react and added 2 high deductible plans and introduced health savings plans to offset that and expand their options. Now we're baking in 3% because there's a bill that's trying to level that off. So we're expecting to see more along the lines of inflation in the future, but we'll have to keep watching to see if that holds. And lastly, the pension rate is ORS, Office of Retirement Services. It's gone down slightly. You may recall that we had a healthcare refund where they legislatively said we do not have to collect, employees do not have to contribute 3% into their healthcare fund. So that has somewhat impacted on a lag the rate that we pay in total. So some good news there. So now that we've kind of talked about what's impacting the budget and the assumptions that we've made, these are the resulting numbers that I want to share with you. Same format as before. For revenues, we're looking at local being 7.6 million, state being 37,836,432, federal being fairly static at 2.2, other being, again, transfers primarily from other districts, GISD, 617,000, and we're resetting the food service transfer back to 50,000. Total revenue being 48,331,634. And this mix did shift our concentration of state funds a little bit by down to 78%, but still the majority, clear majority. Moving on to expenditures. The same information as before and showing you the concentration of that. So leaving expenditures at 49,763,638. So balcony view, total recap, revenue at 48 million plus, expenditures at 49,763,638, expecting a deficit of 1.4 million. Beginning proposed, because that's predicated on what I shared with you as far as our final budget, our starting position would be 13.6 million, and then our ending with that deficit proposed would still leave us at 25% fund balance at just over 12 million. I always like to end the slide with the big picture as far as our fund balance. pretty obvious here that the green is good and the red is bad in terms of revenue and expense. And you can see when just looking at them whether there's a add or a subtract that year, and then showing the iterations that I just kind of walked through. And the black line is our fund balance, which is marking the secondary column as far as a percentage. So still in very healthy stance, intentional spend down with the factors we know. And then I add in here just where we started to get some of that extra fund balance, I would argue, was part of the COVID funding years. And as a reminder, these line items as far as best practice, Michigan School Business Officials sets the best practice standard at greater than or equal to 20%, not unlike the rules we hear in personal finance as far as 6 months, used to be 6 months, it's now closer to a year savings. Board policy says the minimum of 10%. And of course, anything less than 5% is going to warrant a phone call, if not a site visit from the state. That concludes my presentation for this evening. Is there any questions?
No questions, but thank you.
I have one. I'm looking at the budget for this year, or, you know, under expenditures, and I'm just asking this because I'm curious, not, payments to other government units, it looks like we have made payments, but, like, what were those for? Why did we make payments and then all of a sudden they stopped? Or why don't we have any this year? Looks like we did 22, 23, 24, 25.
I wonder if there isn't a line issue with that, Autumn, because they don't stop. For the most part, payments to other governmental units is generally money to and from Genesee Intermediate School District.
Well, it just says 0, 0, 0. It doesn't like cut off.
No, I'm going to look in that. I would think maybe I got a line off.
Okay.
So it appears to be an error in presentation.
Okay.
They did not stop.
Okay. So that was my first one. And then the transfers from other funds. Well, I know that we talked about the food service one, but I didn't think it was for those amounts. What are those transfers?
This is a transfer out. This is 22I money that we get from the state, that as soon as we get it, it's earmarked for transportation. We transfer it out to the Public Improvement Fund for future bus purchases and/or equipment.
Okay. So, okay. And how do we go in the deficit there? Are we buying more buses, like, than we budget for, or what is?
The budget for bus purchases would then be found in the Public Improvement Fund, which is not mandatory to have a preliminary budget adopted.
Yeah.
I do adopt one, but I generally bring that when we do the interim, January, March timeframe.
Okay, I just don't, so that budget has a deficit.
Operating, I am presenting a deficit budget for 26-27. I'm presenting a budget that will utilize fund balance intentionally.
Okay,
And for this year, we're 200,000 to the good, roughly.
no.
Yes.
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 Current year.
Yeah, for this
Current year, we're 200,000 to good. Next year, we're projecting at
1.4 to the
1.3
bad.
million to
Yes.
bad.
Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome.
Anybody have any other questions?
Do you have that on hand that you could, maybe, I just want a final copy to look at before I don't know how, if it's easy to print that off to get it correct.
I would assume that what I have to print is what you have printed, so I would have to ask for time to look into why that presentation looks wonky.
Okay, so this is, okay. So we're looking
is
at
the one,
something that needs to be fixed.
for next year, right?
Yeah, for next year's budget. Yeah, it's not.
The,
Not accurate.
Is there any more questions?
Yeah, I think she's still thinking on autumn, so I'm giving her a minute,
Okay.
or she's writing.
no, I'm not right.
Oh, you're
I'm-
thinking?
I don't know that it has to be fixed, because it is subject to amendments anyway.
Yeah, I just had a bunch of zeros there, Jamie. That's one that she's got on that payment.
I don't, but I like to
payment.
follow it from the original, and I can't, yeah. And I can't do that if I never have an original kind of thing.
Jamie, in the budget, or as far as staffing goes in that, does that have everything status quo like from last year? I know you said there was 3 more FTEs, correct?
Correct, and
Okay.
other assumptions made for overall salary step
Okay,
rate changes.
so we're in a position where we've added staff, we're not cutting staff.
The 2 that I mentioned were utilizing a grant,
Correct.
and the 3rd was, it's special ed, so it's based on student needs that is mandatory, based on state-regulated caseload. So based on facts and circumstances, the answer is yes, we're adding, but it's not general population growth type adds that are optional. We're utilizing the grant, so we're adding staff to spend a grant, and then we're adding a staff based on a special ed mandate.
So the one we have to do.
The one we have to do, and the other we choose to do because we chose to
Correct.
take on the grant. Yes.
We did add, yeah, the social
then-
workers, we added that, I think, last month, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. But if that grant goes away, then those positions would likely go away.
Well, we don't have that in writing, but we probably should do that at some point.
So that's part of the conversation as you have grants and you're using funds for staffing purposes. A great example of that would be through some COVID monies and school districts utilizing some COVID monies for staffing reasons. At the end, when the COVID monies went away, you were then having to make a decision to how do we fund this? Or the other direction would be we need to make reductions as a result of it.
That's my point in that when she showed on the graph that there was 3 years of COVID money, obviously there were added positions, that money is no longer present. So are we keeping track of those positions that we've added through,
COVID money.
use the term loosely, the generosity of the state? But
I don't know.
then did we absorb the cost of those positions, or did we eliminate the positions?
Something I can look into is what additional positions were added through the COVID money, because you didn't have to add positions with the COVID money. So the question might be, how many positions were added through those COVID monies? And then are we continuing to fund those through our general fund now? Because,
I know a couple were attendant, and I'm using the term because I don't know their proper title, but I know it had a lot to do with attendance and monitoring attendance. And so I guess my question is during that 3-year stretch, what positions were added that now we have absorbed when that lack of funding exists? So you don't have to answer that
Yeah.
now, but it would be a question I'd like to see answered, because obviously, we can't, I'm not saying we have to draw lines in the sand today. We can't operate in a deficit year in and year out, because eventually we'll be down below 5%. May take a decade to get there, but we'll be down below 5%, and then we'll be getting hay grams from the state. So that's something that instead of ignoring or absorbing those positions, it's something we would look at. The same thing with the 2 positions with paying through the 31A, whether it's 31A or AA grant, down the road, if that grant no longer exists, then that's something that I think we need to keep a little flow chart of what positions are being funneled or paid through for money.
Yeah, that should,
that aren't, that if that money is no longer coming in, then we have to make a decision, and I think that decision should be explained to the board of why those positions need to be kept, or obviously we were doing the job without them. And then we rewrote the rule book during that 3-year deal with COVID. Well, we may have to go back to the old rule book. You know, because if that's where some of that $1.3 million deficit is at, then it needs to be addressed. So I mean, you can't keep a deficit. And this isn't directed at you, this is directed at the board and Ken, it's something we have to look at. We can't sit here and live and go, well, it'll be different next year. Well, maybe not. Might be less, might be more. But I'd like to know what positions were created during that 3-year stint that still exist and that we absorbed after the fact.
yep.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that I can't answer that on
No,
the
I know you
spot.
can't. No, I don't
But-
expect you to today, but I mean,
But
I'm directing more that it can, is, and you guys can figure it out together. And it doesn't have to be done today. We can eat $1.3 million right now, but in 5 years, maybe we no longer can. So,
So in January, I'll start having conversations and I'll start bringing things forward in January, February in terms of staffing in April, May for next year. So we talked about having a personnel committee. Within that personnel committee and human resources, we're also going to be working with the business office to make some determinations. Okay, this is where our enrollment's at. This is where we see those projections going. That might be a conversation then we have to have where we need to see a reduction across certain areas in terms of staffing, so we are not going into the red.
okay, well, I agree with you when you start saying the numbers. That's a different topic to me. That I would like to know what positions were added during that 3-year stretch. Did we, like I said, I know the high school and the middle school had someone employed to do nothing more than monitor COVID stuff. Did those positions still exist today?
No.
Okay. Well, like I say, I'd like to see on paper what was added during that time, what positions we've created. Because, I mean, your graph was pretty self-explanatory. We had about an extra inch of green up there, and now we don't have that extra inch of green. Now we have about a quarter inch of red. And that can't, we can't, it's no different than at your house. If you're taking in less money, you got to turn some lights off, or, you don't get to take a trip this summer, or whatever. I don't know what it is, but you make adjustments. You cannot continually operate in the red.
I definitely understand what you're saying, and I think that going forward with some visual, my mind is already spinning with ideas, in terms of FTE presentation for tracking going into the future, it would be potentially difficult to go back and create that historically. But definitely, I think that that's a lens that would be a very healthy tool for conversations as things evolve.
Well, we know who we hired.
Yeah, it would be
Attendance for-
necessary to have it historically, because we
one
need
at
to
a
know
time.
how many
We
positions.
know, but we know who we hired. We don't need to keep going, we don't need to keep debating it, but what I'm saying, if we want to go back and base it on FTEs, we have more administrators now with fewer students. We have more people working in the central office with fewer students. So if we're basing it on that, then you could, in theory, you could say we should lay some people off in this building.
And
I mean, if we're gonna base it on that.
an FTE alone doesn't always tell the whole story.
I understand that, but again, we're talking, we have hundreds of less students. And I'm not trying to jam Ken up with what he said, but if we go to January and we start looking at the number of students we have, and if we're gonna base it on it in January, then I can base it on today from the numbers from 5 years ago. We have more administrators today than we did 5 years ago with fewer children, and that. So if that's gonna be the basis for it, then, I mean, that's an easy topic. Well, it's not easy. But what I'm saying is, I would like to see during that free money time, what we hired and what we did, what positions were created, and are they still in existence? And then how are they now funded, if they were done through grants during that time? That's That's really a simple thing to do. It's no different than in our profession. I'll pick on what they did at Linden. Linden got a 3-year grant to hire an additional SRO. At the end of that 3 years, Linden had to absorb those costs. So what was once upon a time costing Linden about 17 grand, after that 3 years went up to 54,000. So that's my whole thing here. It's not necessarily you want to get rid of that position, but what positions were created under that time frame with that additional money, and do they still exist, and how are they now being funded if we absorb them? I mean, that's really, to me, that's a really simple question. And like I say, I don't want to base everything just on a number, because if we're doing that, then that numbering system's really simple. Because, I mean, we can go back to what we had for an enrollment 5-10 years ago, and we'll look what our staffing was in. I mean, when I first got on the board in 2011, we had about 2 less administrators here. You know, we had 1 guy doing HR and finance, and we had 1 superintendent, and we had a curriculum specialist. Well, we have more than that now with fewer students. And I'm not saying we need to get rid of those positions. What I'm saying is we have less kids, less staff, and more administrators and more people in this building. That's a fact. So there's 2 parts of that. I don't think we want to just throw things on enrollment or FTE, because that's a slippery slope. And then the other is I want to know what positions were created in that 3-year span. Do they still exist, and how are they funded? Because that money no longer exists.
Okay.
Not only that, but look at curriculum too, that's grant funded, that we spend subscriptions, we buy subscriptions to every year that no longer is paid for by a grant. How many things are there like that in a district, not just personnel, but other things that we're relying on grants and, you know.
And we're looking at 79% of our budget is people. And that's really not a true factual number, because, for instance, the custodians, they don't fall under those people. They fall under contracted services, don't they?
They do from a coding perspective, but when we talk about them, we're generally
So
including
they're in that
all of our-
79%?
all
All
of
your
our-
contractual people are?
Yes,
Or
yes.
contracts, services are? Okay.
Yes, yeah. When we talk about it, that's generally, we're including all of the people costs, whether they be through EduStaff or through payroll.
So then, okay.
It's still probably around 80% of our budget, including the contracted service. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So and that's what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, is that number actually is a little higher than what's on that board, if you count contracted services, because they're still people.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, we gotta move on. One quick reminder, there was a flow chart, Ken, for both Kens. I don't know what happened to it. I requested it in 2000 underneath Ben.
I still have the copy you gave me.
Yep, and I think I may have given you a copy.
You did.
And that went away. And I asked Ben, because in any organization I've been in, they always had a flow chart with the staff, and they were color-coded, who was contractual, who was a contract, who was out, you know, I mean.
The
administrators.
organizational chart, yes.
Yeah, they never had one, and I asked Ben to do it, and he was nice enough to figure one out, color-coded. And they produced one about every 6 months. And then when Mr. Simonson came in, I don't think I asked him, to be honest with you, but it disappeared, Ken. So what they did is they were updating it every 6 months, which at least gave us a flavor of where everybody was at, how many people were assigned everywhere. And I've asked new Ken here to please figure that out. But Ken brings up a legitimate question. I didn't think to ask that. We added several positions during COVID, and if they're not here, they're not here. But that would be an interesting question to ask and find out for the board. Thank you. Okay.
Take a break before we move on to action.
That's up to you guys. I can keep going, or I can take a break. It's up to you. What's the pleasure of the board? 5-minute break? Okay, 5-minute break. All in favor? Aye. Okay. We'll take a 5-minute break, ladies and gentlemen. Travis? All right, we'll go back to open session. I think we left off at, the budget presentation will go on to board action items. Board action items. Is everybody back and present? Thank you. Approval of the 25-26 Swartz Creek School District budget, final budget. Okay, yeah, she's bringing copies for everybody of the, Mr. Cooper's proposal to the district. I keep it in there right now. No, you keep it in the district locked up somewhere. And I'll keep a copy of whatever she provides.
Everyone's gonna get a copy up here. That's the, like, the main one. She even printed one for you. So you have one you can write on.
Oh, okay. Okay. Board actions A, approval of 25-26 Swartz Creek budget final. What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to accept the budget final as presented.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, discussion. Sorry, Sue.
Ken and Andrea seconded.
Okay. Any
I'm sorry, I didn't pay attention. I watched you doing what you were doing.
Discussion? None? Roll call vote, please, Sue.
Jenny Walgast,
Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Autumn Henry. No. Carrie Germain,
Yes.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Ken Engel.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1. Next action item, B, approval of the 26-27 Swartz Creek budget, parentheses preliminary.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. I know it's a preliminary budget, but it does show a deficit. Okay. That's my only comment. No further discussion? Roll call vote, Sue.
Chuck Melkey,
No.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Carrie Germain,
Yes.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
No.
Jenny Walgast.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-2. Next one, annual approval of central office administrators' contracts. You can highlight the changes, and I guess my only concern is, are we voting on these as a group or as an individual contract?
I would rather go individual, but that's just me.
I agree with you.
I would agree too.
Last year, we voted on them as a group. I believe I was the only person opposed to that. Any discussion by my fellow board members?
Yeah, I would like to just hear the differences,
Do they-
maybe.
Sorry, Autumn.
No,
No, you're good.
Go ahead, Ken.
Do they have to be voted on tonight?
I don't know that answer.
They're already late, I think, was my understanding.
They're what?
Already late.
Yeah, usually we did it last year, we did it in April.
Well, nobody's without a contract.
I don't know that answer. Yeah,
Well,
I think there's,
No one's without a contract because they're still in their current contract of 26, 27 years. Because we didn't do a non-renewal on anyone's contract.
Yeah, and the
So-
last one that was approved it covered even the next year too. It covered July 1st, 26 through June 30th, 27. So nobody's without a contract.
That would be accurate for your central office administrators. So that would be this packet here called Central Office Administrators, as well as in the other administrators not in the PAT, the last contract in there, which looks identical to the Central Office Administrator contract, would also be another one that falls in that category, Ken.
Okay, well, let's address the one in front of us. I'd like to postpone the vote on the one in front of us, 10C.
Is that a motion?
Yeah.
Is that a motion you made, Ken?
Yes. Make a motion to postpone.
I'll second that.
And seconded by Kim. Discussion on the motion. Okay, there's a motion on the floor to postpone the administrator's contracts at central office.
Oh, sorry, did you say discussion?
No, it's an action item.
No, but did you say discussion on the motion?
Annual to approve the central office administrator's contracts. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to go back and let discussion happen? before-
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Discussion. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, how many of these in the, not in PAT, did you say? Sorry, I know you just said it.
That's
One?
the AT, yeah.
Okay. And that one, if action isn't taken tonight, we're in the same scenario as we are the other. Okay. Okay,
So this,
that's enough for me to.
this
yeah.
10C addresses both packets or just the one? Okay.
No, it's for two of them. The other ones for D are in the packet. Oh geez, I put it over here. Everything except for the other administrators not in
Right.
PAT and
Yeah, that's fine.
central office administrators.
Yep. So this is 10C.
I didn't think so. I don't think that's true. I'm going to relinquish it to our superintendent, let him explain exactly what contracts it means. Ken?
The way it's broken up right now, you're accurate in stating that if you were to postpone C, that would be all the central office administrators.
Yep.
But there's one additional contract that falls within the administrative contract, not in the PAT, that has a similar contract that would automatically have a renewal as well, and that is it.
And what's that labeled, so they know what they're voting on?
That is labeled, it looks just like it, and it's for Kelly Robertson.
Which one does it fall under on the agenda?
It would fall, it's currently falling under,
Hold them talk, please.
it's currently falling under D.
But should it be in C?
She's not a central office
Okay,
administrator.
then.
She just has a.
That's all I wanted to clear up, so they didn't get them wrong. Okay. So Ken, you're good on your motion, sir. I'm sorry, who made the motion? Ken? Jenny, you seconded it, or was it Autumn? Kim?
Kim did too.
Any further discussion? So it only really apply to the
Just
Administrators.
central office administrators.
Central office.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please, Sue.
Does everybody understand the motion?
Yes, it's to postpone the approval of the central office administrator's contract, which would be letter C. There was just some confusion because there's 4 or 5 packets there that addresses
Yeah.
contracts.
Okay. Jenny Walgest.
Yes.
Kim Winter.
Yes.
Autumn Henry.
Yes.
Andrea Fick.
No.
Carrie Germain.
No.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes,
Ken Engel.
Yes.
motion passes to postpone the next meeting. I'm sorry, you never gave the date, Ken. I don't know if that should have been included in the motion.
Next meeting's fine.
Okay, is that all right? All right. Please just add that on there, Sue. I know
July
it's not-
8th is the next.
Just whatever the next meeting is, because it wasn't specified. If there's a problem, we'll deal with it then. Thank you. Next one is D, which we did not take off, annual approval of individual staff contracts. That would be all those other packets that did not include the one we just mentioned of the central office administrators.
So D is the other administrators not in the PAT, correct? This packet.
Everyone else.
All the other packets.
Oh, it's all the packets.
All the rest of the packets.
Other administrators not in PAT.
Would it be helpful for me to go through one by one? What would be helpful?
How many packets are there? 3 more, right?
4.
4. Go ahead.
Yes, please.
So I'm going to start with central office staff.
Okay, go ahead.
All of these contracts you'll read on page 1, whether the individual is a year-round employee or a non-year-round employee, their salary amount, and their job title. These are simple couple-page contracts. The only thing I adjusted was the steps in the back. If they were on step 3, they moved to step 4. And that goes for every single one of these contracts. I will tell you the first one in there is the only contract that I added language to, and that is the first contract that you turn to in this packet. You'll go to 1, 2, the 3rd page. One more page, Kim? Yep, right there. Nope, to the right. There, that was the language that was added. Outside of adding that language, the only thing I adjusted in this entire packet of contracts would be the steps from 3 to 4. Now, below that, you will have longevity. That will be adjusted if someone was here for a longer period of time. HR handled that, as well as any education or certificates. But no other contract language was changed besides the year and to make sure they had the right name and title. All the contracts read the same with the number of vacations. You've got vacation and sick days, personal days, retirement incentives. The employees in this packet would be the individuals that are not administrators that work in this office, whether through the business office, the administrative, executive, superintendent, executive, secretary,
Okay.
special education, and human resources.
And that's the one that says central office staff, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And these were,
All right, they were in our drive, I hope some.
Yeah.
They were in your drive, they were emailed to you on Wednesday as packets, and then they're organized here for you in front of you today.
okay. And then, is that normal for the step to get bumped at this time?
Correct.
These were all expired, basically, well,
These will expire. These were not 2-year contracts. These were
Okay.
just 1 year. This packet will expire.
and then how often do they go up a step in this packet?
Every year until they get to the top,
So every year they could take another step?
until step 6.
Okay. And that's required, I know the state said something about the step system, I don't know what
It's
exactly.
not
those
required, but
rules are,
it's a very common practice.
I'll make a motion to accept the packet labeled central office staff dated 6/24 of '26.
Support.
There's a motion on the floor for central office staff packet, support by Andrea Fick. Any further discussion on the motion? Sue, roll call vote, please. Are you guys gonna do these as a group or as an individual?
I don't mind doing them as a packet unless someone has an issue
No?
with it.
Okay, I'm just asking to clarify the motion.
Yes.
Okay,
This
thank you.
this entire packet.
All right, so it's to do the whole entire packet, central office staff. Got it, it's been seconded by Andrea Fick. Sue, you have all that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Carrie Germain.
Yes.
Jenny Walgast.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Next one, Ken J., Buildings and Ground Staff. You gonna do that one or tech?
No, I can do that.
Okay, Building and Ground Staff. You can borrow mine if you want. I have
No, I'm
it.
going to borrow your cheat sheet
Okay,
here.
that's all right.
So building and ground staff you have 4 individuals. All 4 of those individuals are working within a contract. You will notice that 2 of them are salary, and I believe 2, I gotta look at my notes on another page.
They're out, the other 2 are hourly, Ken.
Okay, thank you, Ken, I appreciate that. You have 2 salary, 2 hourly. Very simple, contracts read identical in terms of organization from the individual, of what they're doing, how much they work, into their paid holidays, as well as additional days, and then at the end, a signature for them, and a pay scale on the very back.
So I see that there's merit pay for these, for the salary employees.
Correct.
Okay. And then I'm also noticing there's no, so how do adjustments in the hourly rates happen? Because I'm not seeing charts.
There is no chart, that would be a annual discussion in terms of the hourly increase.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep, no problem.
So these 4 individuals work on the building and grounds, 2 of them being our mechanics that work on our buses.
But-
The hourly employees are the 2 mechanics that work on our buses.
And these are if they're not in, ask me,
They are not in, none of these contracts are in ASME. This is why
But they
we're
have-
here with these.
okay.
So I'm going to come back to the merit. I don't see any language in here explaining, okay, maybe it was just, one of them does, or maybe it's just page breaks. Never mind.
Then why are they put in?
Okay, so the first one does mention, nope, neither of them actually explain how merit pay is earned. It talks about performance appraisals, but it does not say, it all says is that an increase of pay rate must be supported by an effective or highly effective. It does not say what triggers that merit pay.
Would you like something added?
Personally, I would like the merit pay rolled into the base salary, but that's my own personal axe that I've been grinding with all these contracts.
I don't have an issue with that, because to me, the merit pay is, if it doesn't have to be in there by statute, I don't understand why it's in there. You either want to pay this person X amount of dollars or you don't. And if they're not performing, then write them up. Get rid of them. But I mean, to sit here and say, well, you know, you did good this year, so we'll give you an extra $2,000. I don't think that's necessary, just give them the $2,000. But I guess that's Jenny and I.
I would agree.
Okay, so moving along, is that what you guys want to do? Strike out merit pay, add it into base pay, or do you want to leave it in this year till next year? You tell me what you want to do.
I would like it moved, especially because there is no language talking about how you earn the merit pay.
There's nothing that says what activates. I mean, if you approve this the way it's written, you can't give them merit pay, because there's nothing that activates it.
Is that the pleasure of the board?
If we're giving them the money up front, sure.
So I'd like to
Not
make.
taking it away, right?
Correct. I'd like to make a motion to accept the contracts titled Building and Ground Staff dated 6/24/26, and in the 2 salaried employees, take the merit pay and roll that into their annual salary and eliminate the language of merit pay in the contract.
Support.
Motion on the floor to approve the building and ground staff contract with the exception of taking merit pay out, rolling it into their base pay. And I think I covered it all, right? And it was supported by Andrea Fick. Further discussion on that motion.
Basically, we just raise the salaries of.
$2,000, that's what it meant. That's what you guys just
They're getting it
discussed.
anyway.
You guys
They're
didn't
just
like merit
putting
pay?
it right there.
Would they?
What do
Would
you-
they? I don't know. But now we're forced to pay it, so.
One was 1,000, one was 2,000.
Yeah.
And one was 3,000. Oh, this one, in this room?
Building and garage, did you go to building?
This is
Go to the
level two.
front.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're on the right one.
yeah. So it does say 3.
Who is that for particularly?
Mm.
That goes to supervisor base, that's a supervisor and director.
Yeah, but we
Sorry,
don't have
building and
anybody, the
grounds
yellow
is 2 and
highlighted ones
2.
are the ones that are applicable.
Okay,
So we don't have anybody at that level
I know.
in these two contracts.
okay.
Further discussion? None? Sue, roll call vote.
Kim Winter? Yes. Jenny Walgast?
Yes.
Autumn Henry?
No,
Ken Engel?
Yes.
Andrea Fick?
Yes.
Carrie Germain?
Yes.
Chuck Melkey?
Yes. Motion passes 6-1. Next one, you want to go to tech communications contracts?
Not a problem.
Okay.
Which one you picking now, Ken? Oh, tech, okay.
Sorry, Tech and Communications. The communications contract is not in there right now. It's being finalized because that was one of the contracts that I identified of us not having. So I'm in the final versions. I'll bring that back to you for discussion, but these are 2 tech individuals, I believe three tech people that all work within the technology department underneath Travis. The contracts are written identical to the other 2 groups that you just looked at in terms of how they're laid out. From vacation days to paid holidays, longevity, and these are also, it looks as though there's merit pay.
Yep, so I'd like to do the same thing where the merit pay, because again, there's no language in these for how you earn the merit pay, so just roll that up into the base.
Time, Ken.
I'd like to make a motion on the contracts that are titled tech/communication contracts dated 6/24 of '26 to accept as presented with the addendum to eliminate the merit pay and have that dollar value rolled into their annual salary.
I'll second.
A motion by Ken Engel
Support. Oh, you were,
and
sorry, Jen.
supported by Jenny Walgast to approve the tech communication contracts for the employees there by rolling in the merit pay would be the only change. Is there further discussion on that motion and second motion? None? Roll call vote, please, Sue.
Autumn Henry?
yes.
Kim Winter? Yes. Carrie Germain?
Yes.
Andrea Fick?
Yes.
Chuck Melkey?
Yes.
Jenny Walgast?
Yes.
Ken Engel?
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Next one would be, I think we did other.
We gotta do other.
Other, that's a single contract. Go ahead with that, Ken.
This is a single contract individual for a employee that works over at iCampus in our virtual learning center as a teacher. Currently not in the SCEA, just an individual one-page contract.
Why are they not in the other? Why aren't they rolled in with the other teachers?
Don't know
Okay.
why.
That would be a negotiated situation. I do not have the information of why they have not negotiated them in, but this individual is not in the SCEA, which is why they're a single standalone contract. Once again, nothing changed. I'm not even sure, I don't believe anything changed on this one. Sue, I see you nodding down there.
Yeah, where the dates are
The dates,
off.
yeah, the
We
dates,
need to
yeah.
fix the dates.
Just
Fix the dates.
Yes.
11th day of June, it needs to be 26, correct,
Go to
Sue?
26, yes. 26 and 27, actually.
This was the 11th hour ad, sorry.
Yes, it was.
So the 2025 needs to be made 2026 twice, and the 2026 needs to be made 2027.
With the dates
2020
fixed.
down there too.
Is that it? Is that correct, Sue? Is that the way you read it?
Yes, it should be,
Okay.
July.
Every place where it's got a year marked it
Oh,
advances
there's-
1 year.
Yeah.
It says so.
Twice.
Yeah, it's actually in there a third time, just not, it matters, it's in there multiple times. in the paragraph name number 1, it's in there 2 more times. So just correct all the dates,
Yes, sir.
please, whoever's gonna do that.
Okay, so let me get this right, I know we have it here. Motion to approve.
There's no motion, all we've
I'm
done so
sorry,
far
okay.
is, done so far is corrected the dates.
I apologize, somebody make a motion and we'll get it passed, I hope.
Cal?
I move that we accept the contract for other, which is for the VLC teacher, dated 6/24/26, with the corrected changes, reflecting the school year is from 2026 to 2027.
Is there a second?
Support.
Okay, support. Any further discussion? Sue, do you have the changes without me repeating them? It's just in
Yes,
advance of 1 year on all the
absolutely.
calendars. Got it, on all the yearly calendars throughout that contract. Okay, any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Carrie Germain.
Yes.
Andrea Fick.
Yes.
Ken Engel.
Yes.
Autumn Henry.
Yes.
Kim Winter.
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Jenny Walgus.
Yes.
7 yes.
Thank you, passes 7-0, and I think we have one left.
Yes, one left.
Other administrators not in Pat, and this is a large one.
Just 3 people,
Is it?
correct.
Go ahead.
You have your your Little Dragons
Yep.
director, your virtual director, and your adult education coordinator. The first 2 contracts read very similar to everything we've approved this evening, with salary at the front, pay scale at the back. You're going to notice the same language in terms of merit, just to be upfront. And then the third contract in there looks like an administrator contract for central office, but they are not in the PAT, so it was written that way. That one is a little bit more in-depth in terms of going through the different levels. There, if you go to the very back, there is a salary schedule that also includes merit pay.
Before I read all this, does her lengthy contract, or, God, I'm saying, yes, does her lengthy contract have activation for the merit pay? Right, it's on there, but it's
Yeah, it does. It's in 7. It's in the last paragraph of section 7.
sections, okay.
It says the administrator will also receive a merit pay stipend of $3,000 for exemplary job performance as determined by an effective or highly effective rating as total salary compensation.
Okay.
But I still want to roll it.
So can we pull, does anyone have a problem if we pull that one out and add the merit pay to the other 2 salaries? Anyone got an issue with that?
So for the first two, roll the salary and
Because
then,
their contract actually addresses it, the merit pay. So let's pull, Ken, just so I don't step in it, is there any issue with me using the names, or should I use the title? Of whose contract we're gonna pull out of here to vote on separately?
He wants to vote on the 2.
I would say vote on them in numerical order. We have the first 2 in there as 1 and 2.
Okay.
And the third one in there is for 3.
Okay, we'll label them as 1, 2, and then the number 3.
The one that looks different is 3.
Yep, okay. Right, I'd like to make a motion on the packet labeled other administrators not in the PAT on contracts 1 and 2 to accept as written. It's also dated 6/24/26. Remove the merit pay stipend, or whatever you'd like to call it, and put it into their annual salary.
I'll second.
There's been a motion made on the floor, seconded by Kim. Motion made by Ken to accept 1 and 2 of the other administrators not in the PAT, and the only changes is to roll the merit pay into both of those individuals into their base salary. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, I have one. Are these grant-funded positions?
One's May's, I'm sorry,
No.
yeah.
Neither?
I don't think, no, the adult education and the. I doubt it. No, and the Little Dragons is not.
You may have a portion of Little Dragons that could be paid through your GSRP, because GSRP will give you administrative funds.
70% for GSRP would be.
And is there anything that's addressed about?
No, we're approving their salary.
Yeah, no, it's their contract.
Right.
Yeah.
The salary is part of it, the $2,000 for the
Right.
base. I don't care if
Yeah.
it comes from half a grant, half that. We're just approving what the amount is.
Well, we're approving the whole contract, I thought,
Yes.
because that's why
But you're stuck on you just asked if it came from grant money or not.
Yeah, and if it
This
doesn't say
contract
that
does
if the
that.
grant money expires,
Okay. If it
That's
doesn't,
all.
I don't know if it.
GSRP is a
Okay.
different type of grant, as it's an annual money that we receive from the state of Michigan to educate the youngest learners.
We could go back on all these and see if that happens.
right.
Does anybody, okay, he gave you the answer, is that
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Okay,
I don't-
all right. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Sue.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast,
Yes.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
No,
Carrie Germain.
Yes.
6 yes.
Okay, passes 6-1. Then that leaves us with the third part of the other administrators not in PAT, right? That's where we're
Yeah.
still at. There was 2 at the first we just voted on, it passed 6-1. The third one is more specific because she's an administrator. So, and I think that has merit pay on it also,
yeah, move to accept it as is.
Second.
with the merit pay.
Yeah,
Rolled in, okay. Motion made by Autumn to pass the third part of the contract for our administrator at the VLC and rolling in the merit pay into their base salary. Seconded by Andrea Fick. Further discussion.
Wait, was it to roll their merit?
No.
No, it was as written.
as is.
Oh, as is. I
As is.
apologize. Okay. And Andrea seconded it. Is there further discussion?
Yeah, I still want to see, I want to see the merit stricken out of paragraph 7, and I want to see it rolled up. That's my opinion on it.
Any further discussion? No changes by the author of the motion. Roll call vote, please, Sue.
So the motion is to accept the contract number 3 as is, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And Autumn seconded it, or made the
She
motion?
made it.
And who seconded?
Andrea Fick.
Andrew, thank you. Ken Engel,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
Yes,
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast,
No.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Andrea Fick.
Yes.
Carrie Germain.
Yes.
Motion passes. That takes care of the contracts on letter D. Thank you, Jenny. Okay, next action item, approval of additional furniture for the teachers and classrooms. There's a packet in there with the amount.
I move that we approve that package.
support.
Motion made by Andrea Fick and supported by Carrie Germain. Is there discussion on it?
Does any of this stuff have warranty on it?
Yes.
All of it? Some of it?
Yeah, I'm sure there's warranty on all of it. I'd have to dig into any specifics.
Jamie, step up to the podium, please, as you're an administrator, so you can answer your question. Thank you.
Yes,
On
there are
record.
warranty on all of the furniture. I would have to look back at the details to give you any difference between them. When we did the first round of furniture, many of the items were lifetime warranty, so it's generally generous.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. I'm sorry, who made the motion originally? Andrea and Carrie seconded it? Any discussion on it?
That was.
No further discussion? Be it resolved that the Swartz Street Community School Board of Education approves the following furniture vendors, NBS Commercial Interiors for $117,854.50, and Kruger International KI for $71,231.18 for a product cost total not to exceed $189,085.68 to be funded by the 2025 bond funds as presented. Roll call vote, please, Sue.
Autumn Henry,
No.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Carrie Germain,
Yes.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Andrea Fick.
Yes.
6 yes.
Okay, our last action item, and I'm going to invite Al Jory to the podium. He's not given us an unsolicited bid, but in the past, we've not, I don't think we've agreed to let him use our driveway on the north end of the parking lot of the Cage. So he came to the building committee and asked if he could be put on the agenda to us potentially buying a small strip of property at the north end of the Cage property, approximately 30 feet is what he told us at the board meeting, or at the committee meeting. So Al, I will let you have it, and go ahead and try to keep it under 5 minutes.
And again, thanks for your time again today, guys. As you know, I tried to placate the city with a closing down one of your entrances and a service drive over to the new proposed entrance. I was not getting any good vibes from the board on that. The two people that own the two parcels that I'm trying to sell, Betty Shannon owns the one immediately north of the Cage Field House, and David Thompson owns the one north of her. And they've been longtime residents in Swartz Creek for years. Betty was either the treasurer or secretary for many, many years back in the 70s. Anyways, we listed the property, wanted to get access to it. The city said the only way we want access to those two parcels is directly across from Meyer's entrance, which is where I'd like to see it too. But it turns out to be half of that on the school property. I've provided a drawing for you, but in a nutshell, the 30-foot needed would be this is the Cage Field House over here, and this pink represents the northerly 30-foot, which would allow the entrance to be duplicated. I think on the drawings that you guys have, that it shows the entrance way coming in. And the reason we needed the 30-foot is because some of the flared entrance onto Morris Road, it all has to be on the property that is being developed. So I know that I went to Heather Fickner, the city assessor, and I asked her, we built this building in Flushing, and this is the building that I'm trying to promote as a property. She said if this building was built on a property, it would generate $20,000 or more or less in school taxes, and that's just on the immediate property north of the Cage, Betty Shannon's piece, Dave's Thompson's property. This could be duplicated on it or any other building. It's listed, so I'm obligated to sell it to whoever would come along. I'm trying to promote this because we've built it before. I know the cost on it. And I'm trying to find out if tonight, if you guys would entertain the idea of selling that 30-foot at appraised value. It's an odd request because in other instances where I've dealt with the school, the property was appraised and put up for public bids. This parcel can only be attached to the adjoining. It's 30-foot, it's an illegal division of property. It has to be attached to the adjoining piece. So I don't know if this would have to go to a public bid or not. I guess that's a question for the attorney. As much as if it's just to be appraised and sold to this adjoining parcel, then we would gladly pay for an appraisal of the school, appraisal of the school's choice. But if it's gonna be put out for public bids, which I don't know who would buy it, the deed would be kicked back as soon as it came back to the city. So that's what I'm here trying to get a feel for the board, if they think they'd be willing to have that 30-foot appraised gain access to your pond, and we got that all worked out.
Come back over here to the mic, please, Al.
If we can get to this, if we get this 30-foot resolved where all the adjoining property owner will be building all on their own property, and they wouldn't need any easements and no closing of that north entrance. So I'm hoping that you guys could have some discussion on that tonight and maybe at least give me a feeling, I don't know whether you take a vote on getting an appraisal for that 30-foot would be my real wish.
I do have a question. Who told you that it would generate approximately 20,000 in school taxes?
Heather McDermott. Heather McDermott. And that was.
And so you no longer need the easement to the drainage ponds?
Right,
retention ponds?
don't need that. We found out we can build up the property in the back enough to get gravity fed out to a storm drain in the ditch out
Okay,
front.
thank you.
So what you're asking is, do we have the flavor to even sell it? And if we say yes, then you would proceed with an appraisal and a fair market value. And if we sell any property, we're really supposed to put it out to bid, but as you said, it's quite obvious, nobody's gonna wanna buy 30 feet of property. I'm saying we can still, just, let me
Yeah.
get this straight, let me talk. So I'm trying to get a flavor of this. So what I'm asking my fellow board members is not that we're gonna sell it. Do we have a flavor to do it and give Ken parameters to approach our attorney and talk about it and see if it's feasible? And then what the proper steps are by whatever the attorney recommends.
You've watched our meetings, but is this all new to you, this piece of this? Okay,
I watched that one too.
okay. So, I know we kind of watched it, so I don't know if you really paid much attention to it since we didn't move forward with it. So, I guess I would want you to, one, talk to the city and just verify some details, especially the $20,000 in tax revenue, and just clarify all the things about the easement and that they don't need our retention ponds. And just what the feasibility is with the city. I don't know that anybody from this end has had that.
Adam Zettel came to a couple of our meetings and said he was actually for it. He wanted to do a parking lot, and when Adam was there and the flavor was not to give him the access to the parking lot, then correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
Al,
that's correct. This-
You and Adam said maybe you could buy a chunk of the property. Or not Adam, but you could.
Correct.
And that's how this idea came about. And I know he's gonna get 20 grand because I don't want to say what I'm paying on my measly little building, because the school taxes are the same. I'm in the district of Swartz Creek, and it's already way more. That'll probably generate at least $20,000. I'm paying $7,000 in school taxes on my little building alone. Doesn't matter what township you are, I'm in Swartz Creek School District, and so that building would be about 4 to 5 times the size of mine, so you're telling the truth, or she's telling the truth. I know her, she's an accurate appraiser. You're just asking if we have a flavor to do it, and can we proceed to go to the
Yeah,
attorney?
if an appraisal would certainly be the first thing to do.
Yeah, if they come in at 100 grand, you're probably gonna say no. Or 200 grand, or 300 grand, I don't know. I just don't wanna get us in trouble because we have to technically put it out for bid. You're probably right, nobody's gonna bid on it, but we can't say that. So we have to have a parameter
Yeah.
to at least go to our attorney, let Ken do it. He can inquire, as Andrea requested, a few things, just to make sure that we're kind of accurate. And then you can solicit a bid, and we have to put out an RFP, which we're gonna have to talk about that with the other.
And Andrea, the value of this building was 2.4 is what Heather was saying. It'd be about 20,000 in school taxes.
Oh, wow. So I think if you look at the motion, it needs to be just adjusted a little bit.
I have an issue with, we're now gonna pay an attorney to see if we can do it. And then we're gonna get an appraisal. And I guess my question is this, these are all just thoughts and questions. not pro, I'm not con here. But that property in reality has zero value. Because you can't, Al said it best. If you don't put it adjacent to that piece of property, you can't use it. No one can, so for someone to say there's an appraisal of it, it's like, let's pick on a topic and get everyone riled up again. But it's like Morris Elementary. Everybody in this room agreed Morris Elementary isn't worth $40 million, right? You don't have to agree, but it's not. But the bottom line is, that piece of property, whatever they tell us is an appraisal, is it gonna be, let's say that the frontage on the other lot's 100 feet, and that property appraises at, we'll just make fun numbers, $100,000. So 30 feet is roughly a third. So does that mean this property appraises at $33,000? I bet it don't, though. That's my point, is I don't know how you're gonna come up with an appraisal on a piece of property that can't exist. Not that it doesn't exist, it can't. So I don't even know how we guess or someone appraises that. It's impossible to attach a value to it, in my opinion.
And Ken, that's where a senior resident appraiser, he's gonna have a job cut out for this one, because he's gonna have a tough time finding a.
Well, he's gonna do what anyone else does. He's gonna give an opinion, and, he might do the same thing I did, take a third of it, or I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do. But the point of it is, there's no, that property only has value because someone needs it. Again, I'll go back to Morris Elementary. It only has value because someone wants it. There's nobody in the world that was gonna give you $40 million for a school that's 40 or 50 or 60 years old. So it's the need that creates the value of what it's worth. It's not what the property itself is worth. Yeah.
We don't have to accept the offer.
No, I understand it. Then the other thing where I have a little bit of an issue with this, and you know this to be true, Al, is your real fight in all this has been with the city because they don't want to move another driveway.
Correct.
And I'll go back to what I said. When the people that had an endless pocketbook, you see they put a driveway out on Miller Road for the KFC because Swartz Creek didn't want to go to court with them because they would have lost. But when Ma and Pa wanted to put a Big B's coffee shop and Subway in there, they drew a line in the sand and they didn't do it. So again, here we are again, where Swartz Creek's also gonna get a bunch of tax dollar off this as well.
Correct.
Yeah, it's okay, so they're not getting poor through this business adventure. So, but yet they've got no skin in the game. We have skin in the game, you have skin in the game, the or the property owners have skin in the game. And, you come in here to tell us about $20,000 to play Monty Hall with, what's the city of Swartz Creek getting? What's their cut? You don't know the answer, I don't either.
Right.
But they get a dollar value and put no skin in the game besides told you no.
Yeah, but that entrance, it is the safest place to put another entrance to it.
I agree, but but I mean, that was the argument with the coffee shop and the Subway.
I know, I bid that.
This is the long-term plan, and this is the safest way to do this, and then Kentucky Fried Chicken showed up. And we got a driveway on Miller Road, amazing. So, I'm being very sincere, and I know I do sound a tad sarcastic, I'm not being. I'm very sincere, but this is the picture we're looking at. So, and I don't care what we entertain here.
Can I ask a question, Al? Were you gonna pay for the appraisal and you were gonna pay for?
We went through this.
We gotta get parameters. I'm asking if he's willing to do it.
Yeah, I originally said I didn't
in
want.
public.
In the printout to a week ago's meeting, I represented in it that we would pay for that appraisal. And as far as the attorney fees we could throw that on, but it would have to just go on top of whatever the appraised value is. I think the school would have to pay for it, and it would be added to the cost of the property. But, so it'll get paid one way or the other. It can get paid however you guys want it to be paid, when you want it to be paid for the appraisal or any attorney fees. I would think the
Well,
attorney fee
our
would be.
question is here, are we gonna entertain a motion to potentially sell a strip of land, no matter who the buyer is? That's the question.
I want to back up just for a second to
Yeah.
what Ken brought up. So we just found ourselves in a similar situation with that strip of land for the parking lot for Little Dragons. Was there an appraisal done for that? Or did we just pick a number?
We were buying, we weren't selling, which is a different
Right.
issue with school property.
Okay.
We have to go into closed session so we don't give away the price that we want to purchase for it. So it's a whole different thing. In building and operations, we discussed it, which is open to the public. I don't recall if we went to closed session or not, but we came up with an amount, the board did, on what the max we would pay. And Bill Loader approached that gentleman and said that we're willing to pay whatever the amount was, I don't remember what it was, to buy this strip of land, because when we bought Little Dragons, whoever did the site work screwed it up and said that we own property, but the gentleman to the south of the building actually owned it. So when we were fixing the parking lot, they said, oh, you can't fix that parking lot because that's my property. Bill, nobody here knew about it, and it was done before all of our times, or at least ours. I think Carrie might have been the only one here at the time, and she would know about that.
Okay, so basically because the sale is going the other way, it's us selling rather than us purchasing?
Yes,
that
that's a
does
whole different-
require-
yes,
Okay.
yes.
All
Yeah,
right, I
so,
just-
no, that's a good question, and that's why I said earlier in the building report, he hasn't got back with us with the offer we made, although he verbally said he wanted it, so there's nothing we can do at this point.
And I believe he put a price on it, didn't he? And then we-
He might have, I don't remember,
Yeah,
Andrea.
think
I
he-
told Bill Loader to go over there in our building and operations, the board agreed, because we didn't want to have to blacktop somebody else's property and then get sued. We just wanted to buy that small strip, if I'm not mistaken, from
I do
memory.
have a question. What is Miss Shannon's property listed at? What is her whole parcel listed for right now?
The one adjoining it is at 200,000, and the one to the north is at 225.
Just hers. Hers is 200?
Yeah, hers is 200. She has 142 feet of frontage.
Like, are we doing real estate up here? Because this is the second time in one meeting for
And,
education.
I just would like
That we're
to,
talking about.
if I could say one other thing, if
Yeah, let's move
you
on.
do decide to do an appraisal and attorney fees, however it gets paid, whether, if we, I don't think we can pay them directly. That's probably a question that the attorney would tell me I can't pay the attorney directly.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss this. We just got to have a parameter on whether we can go through with it and approach our attorney.
Right.
And
And we would pay.
what's the board's pleasure?
Attorney fees.
Thank you, Al. Somebody?
Make it city's problem.
Like I said, I want Ken Janzarek to get involved and have the conversation with the city and just make sure he's on the same page with the city with these details. And then we might have to be the ones that, I don't know, come up with a price if we decide to do it. An appraiser, again, is not gonna, like Ken was saying, they're not gonna value something at 30 feet of frontage at a true.
We're doing hypothetical.
Right, I know.
The question is, are we willing to potentially sell 30 feet of property to the neighbor to the north? If we're willing to do that, we have to have a motion to let Ken approach the attorney, or me, or Jenny, or whoever you decide, to see if that's potentially okay, and what are our parameters, so we don't do it wrongly. If we got to advertise it in the newspaper, do an RFP to sell that chunk of property.
Well, then entertain a motion. If nobody moves it, then nobody moves it, and it
Okay.
fails. Or,
I'll make.
I think people are confused a
Yeah,
little bit about it.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that Ken J. Contacts the city, contacts Trune, contacts whoever's, necessary to figure out what the procedure would be to properly sell this land. So what, if
No.
we need to list it, if we need to appraise it, just, figure out what the process is and ensure that the city is, amenable to this.
On board with this if it happens.
Exactly.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been seconded by Ms. Fick. Can you repeat the motion, please, Sue? I'm so sorry. I got part of it, but not all of it. You want me to read it?
made a motion that she would like Ken Janzarek to contact the city and ask what the procedure would be, or contact someone.
Through
So
law.
contact Troon to figure out the processes and to contact the city to make sure that they would approve it, yeah.
The 30-foot of land, ensuring that the city is aware of what's going on.
Well, and that the city wouldn't oppose that happening. Open to that, I don't know.
Thank you, Sue. Would you read it to me when you're done?
Jenny made a motion to have Ken Janzarek contact Troon, asking what the procedure would be to sell the 30-foot of land. Also checking with the city to make sure the city has no issues with it, so like contacting Troon
Yep.
and the city.
Okay.
And Andrea supported it.
Discussion on the motion.
I want any final documents that might come out of this guarantees that any damage done to our brand-new parking lot would be the cost, the responsibility of the people that own that property.
I think when we get past this first part, Carrie, that's a legitimate and vital concern, but we're not there yet.
Yep.
We have to get to first base first to see if we're even going to do it. And I agree with you 100%, Carrie, and that would be probably included when we get to that point, if we do get to that point. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah, I have a question. How many roles are you filling right now, Mr. Janzarek? And now you're a realtor.
30.
Did you know?
30 roles.
Yeah, right. And now we're gonna send you on goose chase for 30 feet of land, so.
Did you want me to answer that question?
No.
I'm gonna go with the over on it, but, yeah.
Any more discussion?
Only thing I'll say is, not trying to tell you how to do it, but can contact the city first, because that conversation will be free. And the one with Troon will have a $ with it, so start with the city. Please.
Any more discussion? Thank you, Ken. Roll call vote, Sue.
Carrie Germain,
No.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Autumn Henry.
No?
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Jenny Walgas,
Yes.
Ken Engel.
No.
Motion fails?
Or yes.
No.
Oh, is there 4 yeses?
Four yeses.
3 noes, I'm sorry. Motion passes. You have your parameters at least. And that, speaking of that, we're gonna have to set some type of parameters on this last offer we just got, the unsolicited bid. And we don't have to do that right now, but I'm just saying we have to discuss it at some point. That's all, okay. We're gonna go into closed session in a moment, but we're gonna have public comment.
You're missing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The letter of agreement.
Floater bus driver, letter of agreement. Well, hold on. G, I am so sorry. G, approval of ASME LOA floater bus driver positions. Explain that, Ken.
In my process of finding contracts, in my process of looking at stipends, in my process of digging in, we have 2 situations here. You mind if I talk to both of them?
Go ahead, yep.
One of them is a situation where they need a floater bus driver. The conversation was, that's fine, but we need an LOA if we're going to pay someone to do something. We can't just pay them to do it, so we are requesting, working with ASME on a floater bus driver. That person would not be doing a full-time role. The floater bus driver position will be formally posted in accordance with the bidding. The floater driver shall be paid step 1. The floater driver will not have a permanent regular route. They're just there to help out. In other situations, previously, I'm not quite sure how they did this, but in moving forward, we want to make sure we're on the up and up. If we're going to pay someone to do a job, it's within the contract or it's in an LOA in the back.
Are you, sorry.
The other one is for miscellaneous work. So there are situations where we're having individuals, let's say they work at the high school, but now we have graduation. Graduation's a very large situation. So in order to put graduation on, we need a large number of staff members to be there, to be present, to help out. In this situation, if we're going to pay them to be there to help out, we need a letter of agreement that states that in those scenarios that we can go forward and do it. And the graduation was just a sample. This is just more for miscellaneous, help and established to address seasonal, temporary, and event-specific operational needs throughout the school year.
How are those staffed previously?
They would be ASME staff members, and they would be working within the district.
Do we gonna pay these guys overtime or gals? Is that what the letter of agreement will state? Why don't we just pay them overtime if they've got to stay over to do setting up of the graduation, you know, the chairs and the bleachers and the stands and the flags and.
Right.
It comes down to their job title is to do X during the day.
Yep.
And when that is done, their job is done for the day. In this setting, they would not be working to support students, they would be working to do a different job.
Okay.
So therefore, we have it as additional duties for them to do something in addition to their normal job.
And it's at minimum wage rate, so that way you're only paying minimum wage for somebody helping out graduation. It doesn't matter if that person was normally paid, one rate or another rate. It doesn't matter who it is that you're getting to help, you're only paying them a minimum wage. You're not paying them time and a half for whatever their base salary is.
Is that true?
But if you work
Yeah.
over 40 hours, don't you get overtime regardless?
They wouldn't,
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
they're within
Your 40 hours doesn't start over.
well,
You're doing a
you're
job.
given, what they did at the Flint schools was during the summertime in particular, they would hire people as a laborer. And basically what they would do is they'd take the bus drivers and they would have them go help gang clean the schools and assist the custodians. They were basically, they moved and cleaned desks and chairs.
This
And
is a
so-
separate right?
It's just a letter of agreement.
Just a
saying
letter of
We
agreement.
can offer them a temporary position just for special events, just at minimum wage.
But it's still overtime, right?
But
No.
if they agree to it, it's okay.
Why,
That's
it's
up
in
to
their
them.
current contract,
Our
right?
ASME employees do not work 40 hours a week, so their daily schedule
38.
does not equal to be 40 hours a week. Would you
Well,
like
that's
to
the thing.
address the answer about overtime? I see you nodding your head, Jamie.
Have they agreed to this?
You answered part
Well,
of
then
it.
that's already taken care of.
Yeah,
They've
ask-
agreed to it. It's immaterial. I'm sorry, Jamie.
Right.
They've agreed to it, so if their union says, we'll work for straight time for an extra 10 hours during graduation, all of us, then that's fine. If they've agreed to it.
the contract can't trump law, so overtime would trigger if overtime was triggered.
Okay.
The seasonal examples that we talked about generally are at a time when they're not full anyway.
Right.
And so overtime could come up, but it would be weighted with the different rates, the different jobs, and we have a separate calculation by IRS rules that we would take care of. Generally, we don't expect it to trigger overtime. Most AFSCME employees, other than a few secretaries, lead secretaries, do not have 40 hours as their basic, regular, recurring schedule. And this is outside of the year, outside of the timeframe that they're doing their normal duties, so it's a win-win-win for just filling that gap, but it's miscellaneous. It doesn't require their skill set, and they're not doing their regular job, which is why it's minimum wage. And
you.
yes, they agreed to it.
Thank you. If they've agreed to it, that's great, but you're right, we can't trump federal laws.
The only thing I'd like to see is that they, just to have some kind of a way of deciding who's going to get the positions, as they did it by seniority. That way, we're just not picking our friends.
Does it say that?
It does say
It says
in
that in
section
there, I
2.
think,
Yeah,
It says what?
It says in section 2.
Selection process.
Yep. District will formally post these assignments in accordance with bidding and posting provisions outlined in the current collective bargaining agreement. So
I think we're covered. That, your concern's valid, Ken, but they covered it.
If multiple people apply for it, then selections will be determined by seniority and qualifications.
By,
Okay.
by qualifications?
It says seniority and qualifications.
Okay,
But that's only if multiple people
but that,
apply.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to help out with graduation, I don't think anybody would be unqualified unless they're gonna, do a reading assignment during something, I mean.
It could be, they've done that task before. Maybe
well,
it's experience.
But again.
Could be a qualification.
Yeah, but again, we're going, we're grabbing our friends again. Why don't, level the playing field and have everyone, it would be like if you were doing overtime and you had zero overtime hours. You'd start with the highest seniority person and work your way down. I don't know, because I don't know all the things we're gonna do with this, because no one's told us what all we're gonna do with it. But why don't you do it by seniority? Because the qualification one is, I can make anyone I need.
I think that's secondary.
I
Maybe a
think it is too.
tiebreaker, just to have another criteria to consider. Seniority is paramount and is listed first.
We pick
it's
some,
not.
wait a minute, we picked somebody that doesn't know how to put the platform together, because it was pretty wobbly when I was up there, and there wasn't even that many people up there. So I don't know if you want somebody in there putting it together that don't know how to put a nut and bolt together, and maybe somebody's not qualified. So at the end of the day, I'm kind of good with that.
I'm not sure
I'm saying
that's
that
a
facetiously, but that
fair-
platform was,
Yeah, that's our skilled trades operations group that
Okay.
does that work.
we
That's not
better put them
extra-
somewhere else then.
That's not additional help. We're talking about the volunteers like,
Yeah.
that use the golf carts, for example, or hand out flyers, just crowd control kind of, those kind of tasks are the ones that we're referencing for.
I saw a golf cart hit a car. I did, I was walking by, one of the golf carts smacked the car.
Well, that's, they do.
By qualifications.
They all, yeah, we went through that, we went through that topic years ago, Chuck, because we had a golf cart here, and we had an administrator that thought that they could ride it from here on private property down the street to the baseball field, and I'm like, well, you can, but not legally. You can't operate a motorized vehicle on a public street without it being a registered vehicle
Yeah.
and roadworthy. Well, she didn't have to play by the rules,
Yeah,
but anyways, yeah, we just make the rules up as we go a lot of times. I would like to see something where we know the playing field is gonna be left level. And I think the fairest place to start that out is seniority.
So
Because if I want to, I'll quote a previous superintendent here, and I'll never forget this, and I giggle every time I say it. I can make the data say anything I want by asking the question the way I want the data to go. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's my problem here, is with that little caveat of and qualified. I don't think anyone has to be qualified to hand out a pamphlet or anything else. Obviously, if we have golf cart issues, they don't have a driver's license, don't let them drive it.
do you want to change the LOA and see if Ken can get them to agree to that? That's up, I mean, that's what,
I just, the language reads fine as long as we don't abuse the language.
And I agree with you, Ken, about the picking your friends. That's why it says it's posted now. Before it wasn't posted.
Correct.
Before it was I want to pick you, Ken, because you have the same name as me. Now it's a situation where you post it and people can apply and put their name in the hat.
You'd let Chuck work it?
I didn't even know how to get to the platform. I had to have a principal lead me out there. So I get lost very easily. So that is a good thing, though, that it's posted. And in reality, Ken, and you know this, being big in a union, as I was, if somebody's getting screwed there, that's what their union's there for, that person can file a grievance. So I'm not saying it'll work for them, but that's what there is. So we have did somebody make a motion, by the way?
No, but I will.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, So I'm going to read these separately, but, so are you approving number G? Andrea, is that, okay?
Yes.
Approval of ASME LOA floater bus driver position. Be it resolved that the Swartz Creek Community Schools Board of Education approves the ASME LOA floater bus driver position as presented. Any further discussion? None? Sue, roll call vote, please.
Jenny, did you second that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Ken Engel,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
No,
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Carrie Germain.
Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast.
Yes.
Okay, I need Ken explain them both. I need a motion for approval of the seasonal help.
So moved.
So moved by Andrea Fick, second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Winters. Winter, any further discussion? None. Approval of ASME LOA seasonal help position. Be it resolved that the Swartz Creek Community School Board of Education approves the ASME LOA seasonal help position as presented. You've seen the letters of agreement that we had discussion on. Roll call vote, please. I'm sorry. Any further discussion? Did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Sue.
Jenny
Roll call vote.
Walgast,
Yes.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
no,
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Carrie Germain.
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Andrea Fick.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes 6-1. That was a long agenda and long meeting, and now we're going to go into public comment. You have 3 minutes. If anybody would like to come up to the podium, you have 3 minutes, if you need that long.
Hi, Leah Davis. I just want to ask you guys if you'd please not vote on the offer that was presented in regards to Morse Elementary today. Give the public time to come in during your next meeting to give you their opinions and advice first. Thank you.
Thank you. And just so you know, I mean, this is a general statement, not to Ms. Davis, but we would have public hearings technically if we entertain that to do it, so the public can put their input in before we sell their property, which belongs to the taxpayers. Thank you.
Brian Bender, Moorish Elementary alumnus in Swartz Creek High School. A year ago, Ken, if you watched all the videos, you probably saw Tyler stand here and make an offer. A year later, there was no additional appreciation added to that offer. Jamie's numbers showed 5% in terms of property tax. So in my opinion, that offer is no better. It's actually gone south. There wasn't, part of that agreement a year ago, or part of the offer was to put money into an escrow account. And so I think what Wynn was hanging his hat on was that this was going to be a cash offer. Still not a great deal, from my opinion. I did the math. 4% would give you 1.6 per year times 2, 3.2 million. And then 5% would give you 2 million, or 4 million over 2 years. 2 years is important because they have less than 2 years to finish this project. So that number, that interest, we were going to get part of it anyway, and inflation is going to eat up a large portion of that dollar. I know you guys did some subcommittees. You don't have to answer, but did anybody come up with property that was possible to move this to? Where else would we move the property to? Can you build a school in 2 years? I don't think so. Based on some of what I've seen, that's pretty tough. So from that standpoint, Wynn came in as a hired gun. I won't call him a carpetbagger. That's for the public to decide, but he's here to get a commission. That's his job. I get it. But importantly, he has no ties to this community. He has no ties to the school district, and he has, more importantly, no ties to the kids. That's my point on him. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I watched when Carrie was censored 3 times, Andrea once. It's been proven that they didn't bring all information to the board, and also that in some cases, the board was lied to. There's 2 years of board memos here where it was said that Chuck in the group was notified of negotiations. That's not in here. Also, when we looked at the agenda, there was never anything presented in terms of negotiation for the school. So I would ask that, or I would state that your fiduciary duties have been broken, and I would ask for you both to resign. At the same time, our assistant superintendent was selling her property and never brought that to the board or recused herself. So it asked for some sort of discipline to take place with that. Thank you.
Any further board, I'm sorry, any public comment? I apologize.
You ready, Travis? All right. Brian Jones, local resident. I don't know. You guys are beating this thing to death. Did Carrie tell you? Did Jim tell you? Did whoever tell you? You said you gave it to the state, Chuck. If the state has it, if they did something wrong, they'll come. Right now, there is literally nothing you can do to them other than remove her from her whatever. And if you want to put Granny McStupid over here, nope. You let a guy say that I should have been beaten by those police officers back there
Who
2
said
weeks
that?
ago.
Oh, I'm sorry if I did. Okay, keep going. I apologize for interrupting you.
Okay, well,
But
maybe
please don't stay on, don't attack the board members. You can attack me, but
She doesn't need to sit there and make little faces of everything because that's just, it's ridiculous. You talk about conflict of interest, you talk about all this. She voted on stuff while her family had property. See, that's it. She's been sitting here giggling all day. She doesn't have the maturity to figure out what to do with $40 million. Plus, she already said she would not vote to sell this at any time, at any place.
don't respond to him.
Are you sure?
Please don't
Okay.
don't get back and forth. You can make it underneath board comment. Please don't address, yeah.
Hey, it's your board. You keep it under control. Thing is right here is you have people here who don't know what they're doing. You have people this is a big deal. I understand there's people here that don't want this school sold, but that will not stop things from coming. What it will do is they will build around it, and then Swartz Creek kids will have to deal with an industrial site. And there again, you guys, most of you aren't going to be here in November probably, so you won't worry about it, but those kids will have to deal with it for years to come. It's just ridiculous that all this, we're still worried about who did what when. Your entire job here is to, do you sell this school, yes or no? The things about how do we know how much a new school will cost, I'm sure if you call any large construction company, I'll even tell you, because I talked to Jenny about it for one of her first meetings, asked her if she was involved, and she's not. So call Wolgas Construction in Saginaw. They build schools. Ask them how long it takes in general and how much it costs usually per square foot. And you can figure that out. His math was good. That's a couple $1 million. And look, we're going to have a couple $1 million shortfall. And Ken says the building's not worth it. So, hey, there you go. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, Brian. Any further comment from the public? Any comment from the board?
I'd like to thank Michelle Paul for all of her years of service. I think she's due to depart the district at the end of this month. She's been an incredible leader, and she's touched the lives of many children, families, and staff, and I want to wish her much luck in her new venture.
Thank you. Andrea?
No one else? Okay. Actually, I appreciate that you brought up the censure, because this is one thing I wanted to talk about. Facts over feelings. Obviously, the censure against me last week was strictly over feelings. There was no facts brought towards the censure. I don't have to tell anybody about a meeting that I attend with the superintendent. That's a fact. Another fact is, I'm the very first person that mentioned anything coming in the backyard of Moorish Elementary. I haven't had time, because I'm busy, to go back and find exactly what meeting that was, but I'm going to hopefully have that for you at the next meeting. And I'll be the one to prove to you the fact that I mentioned it first. And then another fact that I brought to the board was when the easement that we own, just to explain easements, everyone, we own an easement on Linden Road. We purchased, kind of like they want to do, they want to purchase a piece of land. We purchased that from the church, and when I found out that the church building had sold to the mega site, I let the whole board know, hey, we now drive through their property. So when there were facts to deliver to the board, I brought the board facts. The fact that feelings were hurt, that I didn't tell them I went to a meeting, and it was nothing to do, it was very elaborated, that you didn't find out about the meeting until October, but there was a presentation like the next month. Again, I'll have to find the exact date, but very elaborate, feelings were hurt. And I'm sorry your feelings were hurt. You guys didn't get invited to a meeting, but I didn't call a meeting. I attended a meeting. I didn't go to it. I didn't say who was on the agenda. I just went. So, I mean, if that's what you guys still feel good about censuring about, when I brought facts to the table more than once, you weren't even here, Autumn. I mean, it's okay. It is absolutely my board comment,
Please.
absolutely.
Keep going.
I am, and I'm just saying, there's facts and feelings. There's feelings about the advanced, I can say it 10 more times if you'd like. I mean, I know, because you're talking while I'm talking, because, the maturity level is so high in this room. Anyways, so facts over feelings. There's a lot of feelings about the Advanced Manufacturing District. That's what it's called. We've all nicknamed it, or someone named it the mega site. There's a lot of feelings, and there's going to be facts. There's going to be facts that we have to put into play about the offer once we all get a chance to look at it. I don't think anyone has intentions this evening on voting on it. We haven't looked at it. I would actually like to suggest that we call a special meeting before our next board meeting to just talk specifically about this. I do think the public needs to bring it to the table. We've all heard things from the public out there, pro, con, whatever. And I think we need an opportunity as the board to discuss the offer in public like we did before. So I do want to put that out there, and maybe have Sue put some dates out there for people so we could, if anyone would like to second, doing a special meeting for that. I want to put that out there. And lastly, I just have to, Mr. Janzarak, did I pronounce that right? It's not that hard, guys, Janzarak. I personally take offense for you every time I see Mr. J on something. It's not that hard. If that's Chuck, I appreciate you've done a great job, and I know I've never said anything to you about how you pronounce my name, but I've noticed recently you've started pronouncing correctly, and you've corrected yourself when you've said it wrong. I appreciate it. It doesn't bother me, but we're a board, and when we should have respect for our main employee. When I see on board minutes that people just write Ken J, like, we need some respect. It's not that hard. What do we expect our students to do? Do we expect them not to address their peers or their teacher by their name? I mean, we're really setting a horrible example when we can't even address our superintendent by his name and we just say Mr. J, because we can't say Janzarak. That's all.
Okay, Ken Engel.
Just a little thought about the past. When we did purchase the property at Little Dragons, to my knowledge, could be wrong, but I don't think I am, we never did do thank you. Let's say appraisal, I lost. We never did a survey there, and obviously that has come back to haunt us. That was done very, very, very quickly because we had found that Mary Crapo was going to be a lost cause to use, and that building was for sale. Obviously, I think as a board member at that time, I think there were some things we missed. And as even Autumn said tonight, Ken's not a realtor. And maybe we did throw Ben Manka, or maybe Ben Manka put himself in a bad spot, but we did miss something, and it wasn't just him, it was the entire board at the time. So, and obviously that's still coming back to haunt us. So with this property topic right now, I do think that we need to make sure that, we really take our time to see what else is going on with it before we decide to sell 30 feet or
Kim?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, when we censored 2 board members, it had nothing to do with hurt feelings. It was the fact that a meeting took place in a trailer on the property of the mega site, and only 3 board members were invited to it. We still, to this day, don't know what happened at that meeting, and we probably never will. But it had nothing to do with hurt feelings. It had to do with, it was wrong, and we were, that information, whatever happened at the meeting, was never shared with us.
Fact.
Feelings.
Fact.
Jenny?
Yeah, and I'll definitely agree with that, because, I mean, obviously, I wasn't even on the board, so it didn't hurt my feelings that I wasn't invited, because I wasn't even on there. I made the motion for the censure because, again, information was not being shared appropriately, and it was against board conduct. So, so that's my comment on that. Let's see, I would also like to just say to the public, please, everybody in the community watches this, instead of including the kids. If we could not do name calling to the adults up here, that would be appreciated. Let's try to act like adults when we're up at the podium. So I'll make that comment. I received a request from a member of the public to continue looking into open meeting act violation by notes being torn up before they could be officially requested by FOIA. I've not had a chance to look into that, so I apologize to that community member. That will be something that we will address in the future, as well as FOIA requests, just making sure that that's handled consistently. And I know that Michelle was trying to fill in, so she was in a tough spot, and I know Ken is going to be in a tough spot as well. And I'll also say, I admit I avoid trying to pronounce your last name because I always hear, sometimes I hear Janzarek and sometimes I hear Janzarek, and every time I go to say your name, I can't remember which one it is, so I do chicken out and say Mr. J. But I will make an effort to try to make sure I'm doing that correctly. And it's definitely not out of respect. It's because I've heard it too many times both ways that I just can't get it in my head which way is the correct one. So, and I try to avoid not saying it correctly. So I apologize for that.
And I might add that I did ask Ken when he first came on, and we even said it at the beginning of the meeting, and he said that he's been referred to Ken J all the time, so I don't know what we're making such a big deal. I can pronounce his name, Janzarek. Sometimes I may pronounce it a different way, but you know what? I still have respect for the man. Are you offended that we call you Ken J?
Like I said before, I was called Mr. J.
That's what I thought. You told me that several times.
My 4th grade students would start the year as Mr. J.
Well, 4th grade students, yeah, but they eventually got there. Are you offended by us calling you Mr. J?
No, I'm not.
That's what I want to know. Because these meetings are already 4 hours long. I'm trying to keep them down to 3 hours and 55 minutes. So if we don't have to pronounce your long name, I'm asking if that's okay. Thank you. Ken Janzarek.
Okay.
Mr. J, Ken J.
So
People are making a big deal, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to follow up on,
Yeah.
I didn't want to take your time.
So I do agree with Andrea, we should probably do a special meeting, so I did want to add that.
We're going to get to it. Go ahead, Autumn. It's your turn.
No, I'm good.
Okay, you're good? All right.
Yeah.
And I have a long list of things, but I want to keep everybody. So one is, I believe by even considering the sale of a school, and I'm not going to quote the law, but I'm probably pretty close, you're supposed to have a public hearing, which we never had the first time around. They said, oh, we're going to have a, what do they call it? Town hall meeting, thank you. And they already had a purchase agreement filled out with a memorandum of understanding, so it was much further. And I can recall the meeting that Ms. Fick is talking about, because it was on January 29th, because I've had it dictated. And I specifically asked, what does anybody know about the mega site? And I looked up and down the board. And when a board member, a vice president asks, what's going on with the mega site, somebody tell me, because I'm hearing rumors from the public, because I had the same 6 board memos that this gentleman over here presented, and they didn't say nothing. They said, we're looking into exploratory type things with prices and sketches, which to me, and then they went dark. We didn't have a memo since December 2nd for 7 months. That's a long time. But back to January 29th, I asked, and guess what everybody on the board did? Except for Ms. Fick, I'll remind her. She said, oh yeah, they're selling property left and right. I have the plat map where all the properties are being sold. I have it all, and in fact, I'm actually buying property for some people that are selling, and after thinking about that, that's a conflict of interest, Ms. Fick.
Buying property for people that are
Yes, they are selling that. And number two is, I'm talking now like you say, so I didn't interrupt you. And number two, Ms. Fick, I asked, well, Andrea, and I was very kind, you can go back and look at it, that's why I love YouTube. I said, Ms. Fick, do you have that plat map? Could you share it with us? And she said no. And Rod Hetherington and Jim Kitchen, Jim did this, and Rod did this. And I have at least 100 emails between him, Tyler, Jim, and Jamie, where they're going back and forth with numbers. I never heard a number. I'll show you the board memos that Carrie Germain said, you were well informed, Mr. Melky, about the 7 board memos, just like I told Jim Kitchen. He was very disingenuous. Underneath those 7 board memos were 100 emails back and forth to him, Tyler, and other people. And now I'm finding out that we had other board members that were making meetings back in June that were never told to us with money. So why wouldn't you come? That's the trigger date. That's the law date. When somebody says, because I just found that out the other day, so all the packets that I have, I'm gonna have to retype, because somebody was given an offer and somebody countered offered 2 years ago. And now I have that information. And guess what? We FOIA'd everything, so we only get little pieces of information. I dealt with criminals for 39 years. Some of these people in here will put them to shame. Because they're basically, they're disingenuous. I'll leave it at that. And so Andrea can go back and look at her things, but I have it memorized because I've looked at the file a million times. So that was the date, January 29th, go back and look at it, ma'am. And I've not been disrespectful to anybody. I talk a little loud sometimes, but so what? So with that being said, let's get the positive stuff. So we have to have a hearing. We have to set board parameters. Even if we consider selling it, we can take an unsolicited bid, but we have to set board parameters, and that's what we're supposed to do. That's a proper way to sell the school building. There's no way, Mr. Cooper said we're going to do it in 2 weeks. There's absolutely no way. I will agree with Andrea Fick and Jenny Walgass. We should have a public meeting as soon as possible, discuss it in open, tell everybody what we're thinking, and then if we decide to move forward, we set board parameters. That's what the board is supposed to do. And the board's supposed to share information, because since I've been president, almost every piece of information I obtain, within a matter of a week, I try to send it to all the other fellow board members, which I never received that courtesy for almost a year. Until I started FOIAing things, and even when we do FOIA things, we don't get them. That's tomfoolery, trickery, and if that's what you want to show the public, our kids, who are supposed to be setting an example for, then some people should resign ASAP. It's that simple. And if nobody believes me, I have a nice little book put together, and I'm just still working on it, because every time I get ready to send it somewhere, guess what happens? Oh, here's another breadcrumb, and it's important now, because how do you put a puzzle together when nobody gives you the pieces, and you got to prime out of them? That's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. I have no reason why. And everybody says, just let it go, let's move on. No, if somebody steals your stuff or does something wrong, you just don't let them go. You hold them accountable. Because really, we're accountable to you, the kids, and we have a fiduciary and statutory duty. So when people say, oh, you don't have to do this, yes, I do, because if I don't report it, or if my fellow board members don't report it and they know about it, it's a statutory and fiduciary duty for us not to do it. So you can get mad at us, make faces at us, do whatever you want, but you know what? I'm going to do the right thing at the end of the day. There's right and wrong. So that's it. And we need to hop on this and figure out what we're going to do with it ASAP. So if you guys want to suggest a board meeting date, that we can all make it and publicize it so the public can see it and come in, because technically, before we even consider selling public property, we had an unsolicited open offer today, we should have the public's input, because technically, they're the owners of that property. I'm not saying that we will sell it or not sell it. People brought up good points. Who's going to give you 40, 45 million bucks for a building that's 70 years old? It's actually built in 1959, I think. So it's quite old. But at the end of the day, we have to do what the constituents want to a certain extent, what's best for our children. So that's it. That's it with our comments.
With that, though, it's, last time it was saying that we weren't going to take anything for less than that. Okay, Maybe if you count the 2 million that we're gonna get in interest or whatever,
We don't,
but
we
like,
set board
yeah.
parameters.
And not only that, but 2 weeks, the offer expires in 2 weeks. And you have how much to plan before, yeah.
Well,
It's
we
just not
can-
realistic. It's
No,
not,
it's not. But at the end of the day, we have a due diligence to try to do the best we can
I'm not
in
even
the
gonna
short
waste
time.
my time. Like, I'm,
Okay,
something that-
then you don't have to show up to the
yeah,
meeting if you don't
it's
want
like,
to.
yeah, kids, yeah.
So does anybody want to does anybody want to talk about a special meeting? We had 2 board members said they were interested in it.
Well, next week is going to the 4th of July, it might be tight, and for their sake, they probably didn't realize we were doing meetings every 2 weeks. They probably figured it was a month out, but I don't know what next week looks for everybody else. Maybe this, I don't even know.
Also, we do have 2 discipline meetings hearings that we
That's a
have to
long
have.
meeting. Don't we have some discipline coming?
Yeah.
By
Do you have a
July,
I'm sorry?
by the next board meeting, we do have 2 discipline hearings.
So that'll be a long day.
So we could-
And that is July 8th?
Yes.
Could we do a special 1-hour meeting sometime in early afternoon, mid-afternoon, for Monday or Tuesday?
Taking
I think
time
a lot
off
of people-
work to do it.
I think a lot of people will be out of town on the 6th still. That might be a rough day.
I'll make myself available, but I don't know who else can. You guys said you wanted to have a meeting.
Yeah, the 7th.
Throw out some dates, 2nd,
7th.
7th?
Anyone?
Ken, Kim, Jenny, Carrie,
Sue, what is
Autumn?
What time are you talking?
For the,
Anytime.
we're talking about for the property issue, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
We're
Couldn't be
talking
here till
about
5:30.
Moorish Megasite, however you want to pronounce it.
I don't care, I can do either. At least I think I can.
What date is that?
6th and 7th.
I think the 6th would, or the 7th would be better, because I anticipate people will be out of town for the 4th, and, you know, we want to be able to be available for the public.
7th's good.
7th at 5.
Yeah, that one we need to.
5 PM?
5 o'clock?
5 p.m.
Are
7th
you
at
here, Ken?
5 PM for the
Special meeting for.
Megasite, for a special meeting for Megasite.
You're right.
Tuesday.
Is everybody in agreement?
Yeah.
And then when can you guys do the discipline? What time do you want that to be?
An hour before our normal meeting on the 8th?
We have
Hour's not
You
gonna
have
work.
2.
Okay, we have
There's
2.
no way.
Hour and a half?
We ought to just schedule that on a completely separate day.
That's what I'm thinking. Could we do them, I mean, the day after?
we
I know
didn't
it's a
know-
lot, but
Okay, you want to do that on the 9th?
No,
Okay.
I can't do the 9th.
Okay, pick an alternate date then, so we can have that all done right now.
I can't do the 9th. No, I can't do the 9th. But
I think he wants to do them together. Ken does.
do what?
Do them both together?
The disciplines?
Disciplinary hearings.
Yeah, might as
Well-
well.
Can't do them at the same time.
No.
No.
1 hour, 1 hour.
You could
Yeah,
go,
we've done that before.
We gotta, I don't know what we can do different, but we gotta do something different, because when we come here, we sit here for a half hour and read everything. I mean, that's an absolute waste of time.
I
And
think that's
We
law.
should get to come in here a half an hour early.
No, yeah, it wasn't. They said that other districts has sent it to board members confidentially.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
I know for a fact Mount Morris sends all of the documents ahead of time. And then
And-
they just,
And something else I think we need to start, since we brought this topic up, I think something else we need to start doing different with these disciplines is we don't, as far as I'm concerned, we don't need their grades, we don't need their history, we don't need anything. If we're looking at expelling someone, we should be looking at the event and what they did.
Yeah.
All that other stuff is irrelevant. Well, he's a good kid, or she's a good kid, or, well, this one's got terrible grades. That's, to me, that's not relevant. The act is what we're here for. And I don't think all those other things are necessary. And the other thing too, I'll say, Ken, is if we don't have a police report, we're not gonna have the meeting. Because on this one in particular, our really only document we really need to read is the police report. We didn't have anything to do with it, besides the monetary value it cost to fix it. We weren't here, we didn't witness it, an administrator didn't witness it. The police come, caught the kids, arrested them. So all we really need to read is the police report. I don't think anything else is necessary.
statutory, is there anything that is necessary? I'm just asking what,
Well, I don't
It
even think
doesn't
we
say
need
you
to
have
have
to
it
do
then,
A,
because
B,
our
C, D,
policy doesn't, says
Yeah.
that you can't.
Okay.
Oh, unless it was on school, just kidding.
And if you turn loose the police report to us, that should be more than sufficient in this one. It's not like anything else is relevant. And then if someone wants to talk about their grades or whatever when we get here, I guess, that's fine, but I mean, I think we need to start looking at the act that is being done, not considering all these other things. I don't care about the other things.
Is there a deadline that we have to have these disciplinary hearings done by?
Before school starts. You don't,
I don't believe there is a set deadline.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, but I don't believe it's like a law that you have to have it
I think
the
from-
next board meeting or.
I think from a due process standpoint, we need to do it as quickly as possible.
Well, couldn't we do these two then at 5 and 5:30, right in front of the board meeting? If we're gonna have the thing on Moorish the day before, how long is the next meeting gonna be? We won't have subcommittee meetings to talk about.
No, but you will have
We
more
didn't have
to
those at
talk
the
about,
last one.
so.
It was at 11:30. Yeah. You know, we sit here and pack the agenda, and then we babble about it
let me
all.
see your agenda. Let me see your agenda.
That too. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what the topic is, but I mean, we have the topic.
Okay, so what day do you guys want to have the disciplinary hearing?
The 8th at 5 o'clock.
I know, she's just saying do it at 5 and eliminate some of the other stuff
Yeah,
and just
we-
bring in
no thanks.
the police report.
We can't do two of them in an hour.
If he sends us
By
the
the time
information ahead of time, we can
Yeah,
read
but by
it.
the time everyone gives their 2 cents from the board about whatever, and we listen to the people, that's, you're not gonna do two families.
Okay, then
in
let's
an
forget
hour.
that week. Let's just do it a week or two down the road. How about we just do that? I'll make it easy for you. Pick a date on somewhere between, I'm not gonna pick a weekend, I want to pick, but you know what I'm saying. So, the third or fourth week of July. Do the third or fourth week of July. Pick the 21st, pick the 20th, pick a date, somebody please, so we can move on.
Out of town then. I mean, he can do it, but I just won't be here.
July 13th at 6 o'clock, right after academic and policy meetings.
I was looking at
Like
either
on
Monday the
Monday.
13th or Monday the 14th after your committee meeting, since you have board members here for committee meetings, and we could transition from there.
That date is what date?
13,
Monday
Fine.
the 13th.
5 o'clock.
everybody's.
No,
looking
that's
at
the
it.
time policy starts.
Okay, 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Is everybody in agreement? Jenny, Kim, I'm sorry.
July 13th at 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Aren't we supposed to be doing like a major review for policies?
They said keep it at an hour, so,
Okay.
I mean, if I go over,
What are we,
okay,
what are we supposed to be reviewing in
You're
policy?
all the handbooks,
Handbooks with
Yeah.
your writings, what you want.
all of them, yeah.
You're not gonna get them done in an hour, 2
No,
hours.
I'm
so
not.
It doesn't matter. Let's do it for 6 PM.
Okay.
Cut your policy meeting short at 6, and then let's come and do, is that okay with you guys?
Are we doing both?
I would prefer to do it.
So one at 6 and one at
6,
7?
One at 7, one at 7:30?
1 at 6, 1 at 7, that way we'll be
6 and
we'll be
7?
bound to
Okay.
do an hour.
Okay. I could possibly have a packet ready if it's okay with, I mean, I could have a packet for you guys to take with you, if it's okay with everybody. All parties involved, after the board meeting on the 8th.
Okay, thank you.
You.
We're gonna need a motion to go into closed session
So moved.
for purposes of, okay, I'm sorry. Who said that?
Andrea did.
Andrea, is there a second, and then I'll read it?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jenny. Purpose for closed session, negotiations, OMA 15.26A, Section 8, Paragraph 1, Paragraph 3, for strategy and negotiation sessions connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement. If either negotiating party requests a closed hearing, and who requested it? Yeah, I know that, but Did the union do it also?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or are we requesting it? We are, okay. All in favor, and roll call vote, Sue.
Ken Engel.
Gonna do all.
Yes.
Autumn Henry.
Yeah.
Kim Winter.
Yes.
Carrie Germain.
Yes.
Andrew Fick. Jenny Walgus.
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
7 yes.
And we can stay here or go in there. I don't know what the public wants to do. I just assume go in. Yeah, we'll go in the conference room and get started. And plus, anybody can look at the June 28th meeting where I asked to make one.
Yeah, they are.